Hello boys, welcome back. Alright, today it's time to optimize our builds, boys. We did have the patch notes yesterday, today technically. So, we're going to go through everything, boys. We're going to try to optimize Brutus. We're going to try to work on a new build as well, which I think might be actually pretty busted. We'll see. But right now, wait, Brutus changes? What Brutus boss item? Item. This has been my league starter for like a long time now. The Brutus LED Sprinkler league starter, which every league has been going pretty damn well. This is, for example, going to be like a 5 to 10 divine budget, right? On the 5 to 10 divines, this is usually like about like day 2, day 3 for me. It already does, like, you know, this is with Sunder here, but it already does like 10 million Shaper DPS, 8.4k life, 120,000 elemental max hit. So, very, very solid league starter. And I mean, very solid. So, yeah. I guess we didn't really get nerfed this league at all, apart from losing damage on rat pits. So, there is a good chance I'm just going to freaking drop that and perhaps put something else. It's not a bad thing to do because we're just going to like lose some damage and gain defenses. So, Brutus, Let's Sprinkler, no way, dude. It was my favorite strength stacker, Molten Strike in Abyss. I'm hyped. Yeah, this is a very strong league starter, and arguably with all the stuff that they added, is going to be even better. Depending on how much power we can gain from these special unique items, right? That you're going to be dropping. I definitely know for a fact that you can have a very nice upgrade on Alberons, because we actually use regular Alberons on this build, not replica, just regulars. This is literally like a 1C unique, right? So we can definitely get something nice in here. The same with Iron Fortress, probably can get something very nice in here. Crown of Ice, for sure we can get something nice in here. It will be even more crazy if you can get these increases and reductions to spell damage get on a different unique helmet. Holy smokes, that would be cracked. But I don't think they're gonna put it at 150% value, so we're probably gonna try to get Crown of Ice with like a, you know, a modifier from a different helmet. So, what skill we gonna use? I was thinking about Smite. I typically play Smite with this build because of the changes to colors and the sockets and stuff. I think that Smite unironically might got buffed also, because Smite quality is pretty strong. I mean, I'm not gonna have it over here, but I'm just going to, I guess, put it in there. The Smite quality gives you less area damage penalty. So with 30% quality from Smite, we're going to be getting basically only 5% less area damage. So Smite base damage, the default damage is going to be 488 times 0.95 plus 488 times 0.85. Smite by default has 808% damage multiplier. Like level 20 Smite with 20% quality in a red socket. That is a lot, dude. And that does not even include the bonus lightning damage you're gaining from the Smite itself, plus that does not include the Volt Smite damage bonus. So it's a skill that clears very nicely, it has very high damage multiplier. Of course, you can use Smite of Divine Judgment if you want to, but Smite of Divine Judgment in comparison is a little bit worse, because the regular Smite is going to have 100 and almost 10% damage multiplier. Smite of Divine Judgment would have, what? 369 times 1.38 plus 369 times 85. You know, Smite of Divine Judgment isn't much worse. It's like literally not even 10% less damage. It's not even 10% less damage. You could argue that Smite of Divine Judgment would still be better, because Smite of Divine Judgment literally has like a screen-wide AoE. This skill has crazy AoE. So, I was Molten Strike then. I wanted to do Sion Molten Strike, Brutus Sprinkler, Strength Stacker again. I mean, Molten Strike got a pretty good buff too. because obviously you're not going to be doing Zenith, because you can't with Brutus. But Molten Strike got 5% more damage with hits and elements, if you want to be doing that. So you're going from 50% less damage with hits and elements to 45. That's almost 10% more damage. That's 8.5% more damage. That's how much Molten Strike got buffed. Just with the socket changes, you got 8.5% more damage, which is, you know, on paper you could say that's not a lot, which I am going to agree. That's probably not like that much, but it's a buff. It's a buff for sure. You know, if you want to be doing Molten Strike, it is going to be stronger this patch. Like, literally. It's just going to be straight up stronger. You can't argue with that. Smite got probably like something like a similar buff. A little bit less than that, but Smite also got buffed because of that. And generally speaking, I'm checking the qualities, all the freaking supports right now, and skills, just to see what could possibly be like the biggest bonus, right? Because these 10% quality also is going to work on support gems, from what I understand. So for example, regular Ancestral Call is going to have 22.5% bonus here. You know, the further away you're going to be targeting enemies, you know, this much further away the radius is going to be. So I mean, that's nice. Still not as good as Awakened Ancestral Call, obviously, the greater, but I have to be honest, from the patch notes, I was really hoping that they're gonna buff some of the greater supports for warriors, because like there's so many of them that are literally 1 chaos, they're completely useless. Unfortunately, they didn't do anything, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Alright, so let's take a look. So Bloodlust, just melee damage. Damage against low life, nope. Physical damage, nope. Burning damage, nope. Cast on this, chance to bleed, cauldron, bada beam, controlled. There are supports that will get pretty strong. Some boost stars. So either I'm starting minion build to get my currency and farm the uniques, because I will play hardcore SSF, maybe migrate to hardcore trade if I don't get the uniques. Fair enough. Personally, I would like hardcore trade way more. I'm not a huge fan of SSF. Not a huge fan of SSF myself. SSF is really build limiting, which I don't like. Increased effect of cruelty granted by support skills. This increased damage with elemental, stun. Eternal Blessing gets aura effect, so that's additional 2.5% aura effect. Eternal Blessing. Excommunicate, expert retaliation, fire penetration gets 5% more fire damage. Fist of War gets 5% area, it's decent. Fortify gets fortification duration. Guardian's Blessing, Hallow. Well, it gives you kind of an extra touch of excitement, in my opinion. Yeah, it's of course it's gonna be like, you know, different for everyone. Everyone's gonna have a different opinion on that. I don't like SSF because I hate fighting extremely expensive items and not being able to do anything with them. I really don't like that feeling. I like to find something to be like, oh shoot, that's gonna boost my build, you know what I mean? Alright, so Inspiration is the first contender. That's freaking insane. That's a huge Inspiration buff. Well, it's not huge, but it's a buff for sure. Because Inspiration now gets 39 up to 32% quality, so it's gonna get 47%. No, excuse me, 42% less mana cost. That's pretty big. Not gonna lie. It's additional 2.5% mana cost on Inspiration. With quality, with 2% extra quality, that's gonna be 3% in total. That's a pretty good boost that Inspiration just had. I'm not gonna lie. So that's definitely like a big contender. Inspiration like shapes out to be like crazy freaking support, not gonna lie. Iron Grip, Iron Will, Knockback, less duration also got pretty nice, not gonna lie. Additional quality on less duration for many builds is going to be nice. I'm not gonna lie to you, my friends. That's pretty big. Life gain and hit support, increased damage while leeching life, life tap, additional duration on life tap. Increased effect of maim, melee physical damage, increased area effect of melee splash, more skill effect duration. This is just a small buff. Increased damage if exerted, pulverizes area of effect, not bad. Increased attack damage on the rage, increased attack damage on the ruthless. Chance to double stun duration, trauma, reduce stun duration. Okay. So from the red gems, I would say like probably the biggest boosts from the quality changes that skills get is regular ancestral call, inspiration, and maybe less duration. They're not like massive. Honestly, the biggest by far is regular ancestral call. This turns into 22%, which is pretty big. 23 with like corruption. What else would be good main skills for Brutus? The thing is that the build that I have over here, my League starter, is designed in a way that you can technically start any build, literally any build, that doesn't require you to get some... how to put it? It doesn't require you to like put a lot of different mechanics on it to make it feel good. Like for example, Lightning Strike. On Lightning Strike, you probably need additional projectiles. You do need Pierce. You probably do need projectiles to recover, so you need Nimbus. Probably it will be kind of clunky, right? But like a ability that doesn't like require a lot investment to feel good to use, like Smite or Sunder or like like legitimate like 50 melee skills or something. All of them are going to feel good with this build. Because it doesn't matter on this build if you're doing fire or physical or lightning or cold damage, you're always going to be doing fire damage, pure fire damage and nothing else. So you have all your damage from Brutus, your flat damage, and you're converting the rest with Avatar of Fire with the amulet. So that's literally it, right? You don't care about that. So that's pretty nice. You can drop Ancestral Call if you get this splash passive in the tree and a champion tree, right? For some skills. Well, depending on what skills we're talking about. Many strike skills, I would say probably all of them, cannot function without extra clones. Of course, there's many ways you can solve that. You know, number one is getting additional clones on gloves, implicit, right? But yeah, this generally speaking is always like a very good damage boost, right? But this is a 5 to 10 divine budget, so I didn't even have that here. I'm pretty sure I had it on my slightly higher budget. Let's just do Brutus Final or something. Did I have +2, +1? No, I still didn't. I still used... oh well. Oh, it's because I had Sunder here. Okay, that makes so much more sense. With Smite, with strike skills, you would obviously want that implicit here. But yeah. Alright, so that's it when it comes to red support gems. Let's take a look at green. I'm just going to really scroll real fast if we're going to see something that is not just like a basic, you know, increased critical strike chance or something like that, then we're just going to take a look. But I don't think that there is probably very few support gems that got like gigantic buffs from the quality changes. I mean, faster attacks got a little bit more attack speed, so there's that. A little bit more attack speed on faster attacks. Wait, did I see multi-strike? Where's multi-strike? Oh, multi-strike is just melee damage, okay. Increased damage per friendly charge. Cooldown recovery rate on Mana Forge arrows. Bro, guys, like, by the way, Mana Forge arrows with the new Legion uniques, can you freaking get Indigon and freaking Crown of Ice at the same time? Because holy smokes. But good luck, first of all, good freaking luck getting that, right? We have to admit, good luck getting that. But if you are going to get that, then holy smokes, like, Connor is probably going to be like freaking... I mean, play PoE 1 in a year. Do we have extra fissures in PoE 1 yet? Extra fissures in PoE 1? I'm not sure if... Could you specify what we're talking about exactly? What do you mean by fissures? You know, the fissures as in the fissure skills? skills that create fissures. Mark on hit. Multiple sunders we have in PoE 2. Oh, something like that. No. I mean, you can modify many skills in many different ways, but if you're talking specifically sunder, then no, it's just it's still a single thing. It's really big though. If you invest into it, it's really big. All right, so we have momentum here. Swiftness lasts a little bit longer. Multiple traps, Nightblade, critical strike chance, projectile, cooldown recovery rate on second wind. PoE 1 is still basically a king of modifying skills, so you're not gonna find PoE 2 compared to PoE 1 is still like kind of like in the baby mode, you know, when it comes to in how many different ways you can build your characters. So PoE 2 is getting there, but it's still like quite a bit away. And thanks a lot for sub, man. Really appreciate it, Durns. Thank you. So we're gonna go real fast through the rest of the skills. Blasphemy, Blast Mind Chain, Bada Beam. It doesn't seem like we're gonna have anything particularly crazy on support skills when it comes to qualities. Probably Inspiration is one of the biggest winners. Thank you, to deserve great content. Really appreciate it. Thank you, man. Thank you very much. The plan for this league, and I don't know if we're gonna get there, but that's the plan, is to make a character capable of on finishing every single Valdo map in the game. That's the plan. So basically, making one of the strongest characters. We'll see if we're gonna get there. I do have some ideas. I'm gonna put it this way. I do have some ideas. Okay, so critical damage support, it's 5% crit multi, it's nothing too crazy. Channeling, oh, this is 1%. Oh, infused channeling got a nice buff. 1% additional less damage taken from hits while channeling. Yeah, this support is so freaking busted. Holy smokes, man. Drops we had yesterday. I think they don't exist now. I'm pretty sure they don't. Could be wrong, but I don't think they do. We're gonna have more drops, obviously, on the league start in a week. So, if you're interested in that, my friend. Damn it, this freaking support is beyond busted. What the hell is this support, dude? What? Any channeling skill protecting you from damage while you're channeling 29% more damage? What? Why is this so busted? This thing. Dude, it makes you want to freaking do a channeling skill for real. This support alone, what the hell, bro? You get like basically like a fortify. Even better, this is damage from... No, this is damage from hits. So you get like almost like a fortify for free and 29% more damage. This is ridiculously overpowered support. Absolutely disgusting, dude. Innervate, this thing. They got even better now, by the way. What's up, Dante? Kinetic instability, lightning damage here. Not a beam. Okay, so we have... That's actually not bad. That's actually not bad either. Additional 5% chance to get power charge on critical strike. Also, like, not horrible. It's not a big deal, but just looking for support skills that would be like really strong combinations, you know, put together. Also that get like good bonuses from qualities, right? But for the most part, this is what we had before. So Inspiration, Ancestral Call got buffed, I guess, but that's like freaking whatever. Should I give PoE1 a chance? Never played it. You absolutely should. PoE1 still many consider the GOAT, so I think you should. If you're gonna have, additionally, if you're gonna have any questions, you can ask an expert here on the stream. So, all right, that's for the support gems. Now we're gonna active skills. Let's do active skills. That's fine. That's not how it's gonna. Skill gems, there we go. Ooh boy. That's quite a lot. It's quite a lot, boys. Alright, so Absolution gets something like that. Then we have Ancestral Cry. So all the war cries basically get 20% increased cooldown recovery rate. That is decent. Auras mostly get area of effect, so that's nothing crazy. Auto Exertion. Battle Mage's Cry. Increased cooldown. Auto Exertion also gets additional 5% cooldown. Well, if you had a lot of red sockets, you would actually be gaining a lot of cooldown recovery rate on War Cries. And I mean like a lot. Like actually a decent amount. Probably worth about 2 small passive points on the tree in total. Berserk cooldown recovery rate. Bladestorm gets nothing. Still +1. Maximum Bladestorms. Bone Shatter gets also nothing, but you could, I guess, push it to... How could you push this to like 40% is the question. That's the question. How would you push that? I'm not gonna lie to you. Bone Shatter, I know this sounds extremely wonky, but nah, but for Bone Shatter you need to stack attack speed and you need to have PDR. And on this Brutus build we have basically none of that. I mean not super crazy amounts at least. Chain Hook, still the same. Okay. Concentrated Path actually got a pretty big buff because of this. Went from 35% more damage to with hits to closer targets to 42. So that's a little bit more damage, like probably about 6-7% on Conk Path. Corrupting Fever, Duration, Cooldown Recovery, and Crushing Fist. Defiance Banner, base duration 1 extra second. Woohoo! Area of effect, let's go. More Totem Life, Divine Blast, additional radius. 0.15. A Divine Blast. Have you guys even like seen a build with this that wasn't like assy? Dread Banner, duration, more damage with. Oh, Earthquake. Earthquake got 15% more damage with its elements from aftershocks. But of course, that is, you know. I kinda wanted to play with Earthquake once, but I don't think its numbers on the skill are good enough. And Dokao, also, thank you for Prime. Thank you very much as well. Much appreciated. Thank you. So this is gonna go from 180% to 195. So that's almost 10% more damage on Earthquake. How much damage Earthquake like does with this, first of all? Oh, excuse me. Earthquake does 229 times 2.95 after the buffs. Earthquake does... Okay, but that's minus the attack speed. Earthquake doesn't really have amazing numbers, I gotta be honest with you. Especially the fact that you need to like reduce the duration also. doesn't have like mind-blowing damage multiplier for sure. What do we have over here? Earthquake application smashes the ground. It's this one. The longer it lasts, the harder it's gonna hit. More damage with ailment spirit 0.5. This is good for ailments, but this is really only good versus bosses, I guess, because who's gonna do that? You know what I mean? Who's gonna do this? And then we have Vol Earthquake. Meh. Earthquake doesn't seem like it has good enough numbers. It really doesn't seem like it has good enough numbers. Which is unfortunate. You would need to reduce this duration to like... You would need to reduce that a lot. Like basically every hit would be... But then again, it's just... I don't know. The skill just doesn't seem good enough, fortunately. Okay, then we have Earth Shatter. Earth Shatter obviously is by many considered the best slam early on. And I guess I can't argue with that. I never liked this skill a lot. And also it gains nothing from quality, actually. The 10% quality is gonna give it nothing. So Earth Shatter is unchanged, basically. Still the same as it was. Enduring Cry, cooldown recovery rate. Okay, the duration on Exsanguinate. Flame Link, Flesh and Stone, cooldown. Frozen Legion, cooldown. There's Cry, got nothing. Glacial Hammer. Every third successive strike freezes enemies as though dealing 150% more damage now. Well, that doesn't really freaking matter. What's up, Rasputin? Cooking new skill for Brutus? Yeah, I'm just currently checking. There's a lot of things to check today, but currently I'm just checking the qualities on skills. And, you know, every skill on paper got plus 10% quality. So I'm checking what could be potentially abused, very strong or something. So Ground Slam also got 10% more damage with hits to close the targets. That's gonna be like probably like 7% more damage to Ground Slam. Yeah, I mean, Ground Slam ironically has pretty okay damage multiplier. And ironically has pretty okay damage multiplier, this skill. I mean, look at this. Ground Slam has 3.3356 times... Now it's gonna have times 1.7 against close targets. Times 0.9. Bro, Grand Slam has 573. And it's a slam. Interesting. What about this one? Ground Slam is Earth Shattering. So... Ooh. Hold up a second. 573. Ground Slam of Earth Shattering has 688. Times 1.3 times 0.7. Bro, Ground Slam of Earth Shattering is freaking cracked, isn't it? Slams the ground in front of you, creating a wide wave that travels forward and damages a chance to stun. 623 for a slam? Like, it actually got like a very good buff from this, not gonna lie. That's a big buff. From 10% quality. That's a pretty big buff, bro. Ground Slam hits kinda hard. I need to test it in game how this skill looks like. But that's pretty nice. That is actually pretty nice. Bro, this skill in 3.25 got buffed by 100%. It got double damage. This kind of shows you how much it needed. And then we have Vol Ground Slam, so we also have a bonus here we can do. Creating a wave that travels in all directions, damaging enemies, increases chance to stun. The wave deals more damage to closer enemies. I mean, that of course is, you know, I still don't think that this skill would be, for example, better than Smite or something, but... Heavy Strike. 10% additional damage to Dabru. So it goes from 59 to 69 now. And we have Heavy Strike of Fartis. This skill is kind of good, not gonna lie. This is not a bad skill. Hold on a second. So what's the damage multiplier on this skill? So Heavy Strike of Fartis has 552, and then it gets basically double damage. And oh, Heavy Strike of Fartis has inbuilt Crown of Ice. Wow. Heavy Strike of Fartis has 180% Crown of Ice inbuilt in it. And then 500 intelligence, you get double damage. Times 2 times 8.5. Bro, I'm not gonna lie, Heavy Strike of Fartis is kind of freaking... The only problem, obviously, that it requires a staff. in some cases, that might not be a problem, but... Damn it, dude. This skill hits hard, but it's Heavy Strike. It's freaking Heavy Strike. So you do need melee splash to make it like look human, and obviously you need clones, right? From Ancestor Cry or like the gloves or something. Like I don't know if this is playable without melee splash. There's no way this is playable without melee splash, right? There's no way. But the damage multiplier is good. It's actually slightly better than Smite. Not counting the flat damage added from Smite, which is going to probably make it a little bit closer still. But it has Crown of Ice at 180 efficiency, so that's freaking huge damage buff. Not gonna lie. That's pretty big. Holy Sweep. You know what? Let me take a look at this skill because I never really put too much attention to it. The Holy Sweep gets +1 additional enemy struck, so it goes from 8 to 9, and yeah, I don't know about this one. Ice Crash gets additional 7% of Fizz as extra cold. Immortal Call has a better cooldown. This Infernal Blow got a little bit better, but that's just baby numbers. It's gonna have 81% damage per charge instead of 76. That's literally 4% more damage on Inferno Blow. I think about that much. That's not good. It's kind of a shame. Inferno Blow was such a fun skill to use in the past. How much? What's the damage multiplier on Inferno Blow? And what is this? Inferno Blow of Immolation. Attacks with your weapon applying a charge debuff to your upon reaching 6 charges will be removed to damage nearby enemies. Okay, it applies debuffs to you. Has longer duration, more area of effect, applies the charge debuff to the user instead of the enemies. It's no longer applied on charge debuffs to surrounding enemies and absolute of death. So I would assume it's probably worse for clear. It's I don't know if that's really freaking good. Okay, what's the damage multiplier on this? We have 377 1.0 attack time times 1.81. I mean, Inferno Blow hits pretty freaking hard too. It's not horrible. It has inbuilt explodey chest basically, like explosions. So for a skill like this, it's not freaking bad, I would assume. With Greater Ancestral Cry, it would probably clear pretty nicely. Not gonna lie. The question is, does it make any sense to use it over Smite? And the answer is probably no. Probably no still. It's like, what's the point? Stun duration. Molten Shell got some increased duration. Molten Strike, as we mentioned before, actually got a pretty substantial damage buff. About almost 10% buff on Molten Strike. There's the new hammer sweep skill. We're gonna jump into patch notes in a little bit. I'm just gonna go through all these skills. Perforate got +1 spike, so from 9 to 10. Petrify Blood, life loss prevented over 4 seconds. You get additional 2.5. With quality, that's additional 3% of life loss prevented over 4 seconds. What's up, Meowie? I was planning to do LA hit, but it got nerfed. Back to Cornelius builds. That's what I'm talking about. we didn't get hit basically at all. At least for the League starter, because I didn't use any synth items, obviously. So for the League start, the only thing that we lost is some damage on Wrathbit's globe, which we can totally 100% replace for something else, and it's not really going to be a big problem. And we got like a small damage buff because of qualities, so that's nice. And on top of that, we got these special uniques, right? And new crafting options, whatever. I think overall we're going to be actually stronger than before. Subpath, you're doing fantastic today. That's no lies detected in here. I'm doing fantastic as well, so that's true. Sub. We're gonna get to changes. I just want to like see these skills, right? To see if there is something particularly interesting. I mean, purities, I guess, got buffed a little bit. They're gonna have 5% additional resistances each. So, I mean, Smite from all the skills that we saw has the highest damage multiplier, apart from Heavy Strike of Vartus, right? This skill hits really freaking hard, but it has big problem. It requires a staff, right? So, obviously you can do Brutus with that, right? It's kind of similar to Zenith in a sense. I don't know if... I mean, it does less damage than Zenith, but it's like a little bit more consistent. This skill. Both are very similar in a way that they require a two-handed weapon. And not gonna lie, I freaking like shields in this game. I like shields. Okay, so Purity's got 5% resistance bonus for free. All the Warcries in the game got basically 20% cooldown recovery rate for free. So that's pretty decent. Shield Charge got 10% movement speed. Shield Charge unironically got a pretty nice buff. Connor made a build with that Heavy Strike last league. Yeah. It's a good skill. This is a very good skill if you're building around not Brutus but like two-handed staves, I guess. It's actually not bad. This got also buffed just now. It's gonna be 180% Crown of Ice. It's freaking good. That's a lot of damage. That is really a lot of damage. With this multiplier, but once again, I think you are forced with this skill to use Melee Splash. What's up, Hats? I think you're forced to use Melee Splash. There's no other way to play this, right? Are you going to go the scuba way? What does that mean? Am I going to be doing scuba diving? In the new league, I guess we're all going to be doing that. Shield Charge got 10% movement speed, that's nice. Shield Crush, 5%. Oh. Oh. I mean, it's just goes from 10 to 15. That's about it on Shield Crush. That is a buff. What can you say about new Spine Snatch Flesh Ripper Axe? I don't have knowledge in PV1 builds. Can I build attack speed around it? Let me find it. I'm going to assume that you are talking about this one. Wait, hold on. Oh, never mind. I saw that. Never mind. Dude, this ring is kind of nice now. I am going to assume that you are talking about this one. Yep. Oh, well. I don't know the list of all the modifiers on Abyssal Jewels, but the new Abyssal Jewels and stuff like that, but you know what the problem is with this axe? That is kind of hard to see immediately. You lose 6 sockets. That is freaking pain. 6 sockets in PoE 1 is pain for like 95% of the builds. Big pain. Because you basically get 6 link on your body armor, and then you get helmet, gloves, and boots. I mean, it's still doable, but that's going to limit the amount of like different abilities and auras you can run on your build, most likely. That being said, I mean, I'm honestly like right on top of my head. I can't say if this would be like actually usable. You know, my gut is telling me that's probably pretty whatever. this axe could use that body armor also with that armor that also gives abyssal sockets. Yeah, but there is oh, but it says increase physical damage per socketed murderous eye jewel. It doesn't say increase physical damage per socketed murderous eye jewel in this item. So I think it might be actually global on your entire build. But then again, if you have the body armor, then where are you gonna put your skills? you don't have links for your skills in that case. I don't know, man. It's hard to say. Maybe you could come up with something doing that, but it doesn't seem that freaking impressive to me. I gotta be honest. But maybe you could. Stacking certain... Once again, depending on how strong the new Abyssal Jewels will be, this could be either interesting or useless. One chaos. Do you think running any of the green skills might be possible with Brutus? Of course. And we're gonna get to them in a second, but of course. Okay, so Smite, as we mentioned before, it's just going to be so hard to beat Smite. I mean, look at Smite, dude. The skill has good area and good freaking everything basically for free, and Smite gets 488 times 0.95 plus 488 times 0.85. The Smite does 810%, 808% freaking damage multiplier. And it has freaking lightning damage added on top of that, which I'm not taking into consideration. And it has one of the, in my opinion, best vol skills in the game. This Vol Smite goes really freaking hard. This is like click once and clear the entire screen button. This is one of the best Vol skills in my opinion in the game. For melee skills, I'm not going to be talking about like spells and stuff like that. But this is a really good, really strong spell, so Vol skill. So what's going to beat this when it comes to strikes? And I'm not talking about heavy strike of Fartus. I'm not talking about Zenith, because they both require 2-handed weapons, right? I'm not talking about these. What's gonna freaking beat this number? Like nothing. Oh, actually, hold up. Let's take a look at Static Strike. What's up, Fug Max? What's going on here? We're theory crafting new builds, new powerful builds. All right, so Static Strike obviously has Static Strike of Gathering Lightning, which got buffed pretty freaking hard because it's gonna have +3 maximum Gathering Lightning from +2. Hold on a second, let me read. Attack with a melee weapon, gaining Gathering Lightning buff for a duration if you hit an enemy. Whoever got lightning attacks with the skill will cause chaining beams of lightning, which chain additional times the more gather lightning you have. Okay, never mind. So it went from 12 to 13. I mean, it is a buff, but it is a buff. This skill is pretty freaking strong, also. This skill is pretty freaking strong. Not 100% sure if it's stronger than Smite, but it's honestly perhaps kind of close. You deal melee hit with attack. Gathering lightning causes static strike that only to unleash single channeling beam on melee target, and damage and beam number of chains increases the number of gathering lightning. So what's the single target on this? So it's literally with 13 gathering lightnings, the maximum amount. It's 308 times times. So that's the single target. I mean, it's 700% damage multiplier on this skill. It's good. It's not as high as Smite, but it's good. It's also fun. Might need to like actually test it out in game or something. I mean, we do have... I think I still do have my Brutus character in game, so I should be able to test that. I love Volcanic Fissure of Snaking. Unfortunately, Volcanic Fissure of Snaking is borderline dead. Like, it's like legitimately dead. Like, this skill got nerfed so freaking hard that I don't know. They made sockets colorless, but every non-matching gem increased shader load by 10%. Oh my lord. Shader overload, please. Thankfully, you're not gonna have any issues with that in PoE 1 if you decide to play. So that's a bonus. And by the time they're gonna release the next PoE 2 league, I think they should fix that problem. Unless, you know, the drivers of the annulment are not going to like be shipped until then. We'll see. We'll see if they will be able to annul the problem till then. Where did you get that 2.4? You get 13 stacks, right? You get 8% more damage per stack. So it's in total, it's going to be 2.04 damage multiplier. It's not multiplicative, right? So that every single stack, it's like 0.8 times 0.8 times 0.8. I'm very much confident that's not how it works. Yo, Codulets, thank you very much for 11 months. Thank you. Thank you very much. Come back. Come back, my friend. There is no way that's just like multiplies by itself, because this skill would have some freaking ridiculous damage multiplier. I don't believe that's how it works. Hold on, let me see. Out of curiosity, let's see how much would that actually be. Oh, crap. 0.8. 1. Oh, damn it. Times 1.08. Oh, damn it. Wait. 1, 2, 3. Ah, that would be some ridiculous number. I'll see you all the time in the shadows. Oh. Sneaky. What is gonna be your next build? Assassin? Freaking stacking evasion or something? As you're hiding. Tectonic Slam gets 15% Fissure branching chance. Yo! I mean, if you're playing this skill, it's very likely that you already have 8 endurance charges. So I guess that doesn't really change much. Now that I think about it. Tectonic Slam, that probably doesn't change much. Tectonic Slam of Cataclysm. You get additional... Ooh. Okay, hold up a second. So Tectonic Slam of Cataclysm, slam the ground, consuming all endurance charges, unleashing a Fury fissure in front of you, dealing area damage randomly, releasing a number of smaller fissures, branching off of it. So 15%. Holy smokes! I mean, okay, it got like, if you're gonna get one with, that's actually pretty good. You go from 20% more damage to 23% more damage per endurance charge. That's 15% more damage on this skill. That's 15% straight up multiplier on this skill. That's, I think, the biggest buff that I've seen so far from all the skills. Tectonic Slam of Cataclysm got 15% straight buff from quality. But here's the problem. Who the hell uses that skill? It's not that easy to generate insane amount of endurance charges. Like every single hit to generate all of them, that's not gonna happen in this game. So Pixie battle and Tectonic Slam did not virtually reflect the area it hit with the high number of endurance charges. Huh. I mean, bro, like if there is a way to like get endurance charges, like maximum endurance charges 24/7, what about brine charges? This is, I believe, the new charges from the unique item, the Tidebreaker, and I don't think that this item is gonna be great. I mean, on paper, you could make a build with Maven Belt and this hammer and Ralakesh and gain insane amount of brine charges and the charges from the Maven Belt, and you still would get endurance charges, and you would just keep on stacking endurance charges, get +1 endurance charge corruptions on your rings and stuff like that. And you could make a build off of it, but it would be like just this build wouldn't necessarily like, I mean, actually would be a pretty interesting build, not gonna lie. Hold on, let me see the new I wonder if it's here. The new Tidebreaker, if it's here. No, not yet. Never mind. Can anyone give me a link where I can see the new Tidebreaker actually? Out of curiosity. Out of curiosity. Oh, never mind. There it is. This is kind of like wacky description here. What ascendancy are you gonna run with Brutus? What about Cleave? Ascendancy with Brutus, most definitely Chieftain. Chieftain is just freaking perfect in my opinion for a league start. Chieftain completely solves resistances with Tassalio, which is big, not only for league start, but also for a strength stacking build, because your suffixes are usually pretty busy. So this is amazing. This is even freaking better because on a league start you get 90 all res basically for free. So until you're gonna start doing like actually difficult content, you're immortal to elemental damage, which is freaking incredible. And then you get insanely good node for strength stacking on top of that. And then you get freaking Hinekoras, which is freaking busted as hell. This by itself solves your clear speed. You can basically play with any skill you want, because you're just going to be exploding screens with this. That is incredibly good. Really, really good. Which, by the way, we're going to need to redesign the build a little bit because we're going to drop this. Hinekara is just too strong. Instead of using this, we're probably going to be using Warcry Mastery, and we're going to get like minimum 10 power for Warcries, and that's going to be fine. Nah, this node is, I played with it last league. Holy smokes is this node. It got buffed basically last league by 100%. Because it was 5% chance to explode, dealing 500% damage. Guess what? That 5% damage completely is completely irrelevant. With this amount of damage, you're still killing everything. You get one explosion and the pack is dead. That's it. So it doesn't matter one bit. This is a really, really good and fun to use ability. Tiebreaker Unique Mace no longer has 10% increased difficulty. Now has a 50% chance to gain Brine Charge instead of Endurance Charge. Yes, you gain 4% physical damage as extra cold damage and an extra lightning damage per Brine Charge. Some Brine just equal to maximum Endurance Charges. I wonder how this would actually work with Maven Belt. Could you get Brine Charges and Maven Charges at the same time? Sup, Johnny? Thanks a lot for 7 months, man. Really appreciate it. That's your first lab node? Most definitely, yeah. This node is so freaking good. So fun to use. The best part about this is that the explosions are big. They're not small. They're pretty damn big. So it's gonna work exceptionally well in, like, you know, high density content, which, you know, we're gonna be probably farming Abyss this league because, you know, other farming methods are, you know, doesn't necessarily seem that great. Unless we're gonna have more updates in the patch notes. But this skill is just like freaking cracked beyond belief. Alright, you asked me about Cleave. Let's take a look at Cleave. Cleave has... no. No, I don't think so. First of all, it only works with axes and swords, so no scepters. No Brutus. Single target skill, not care about clear, right? No, I mean, it's still good to, like, pick something that will clear. This 10% is not going to be, like, it's not going to proc every time. But 10% is hell of a lot better than 5% it was before. You know? Volcanic Fissure got... oh, Volcanic Fissure got +1 projectiles. Okay. So it went from 7 to 8. That's potentially decent. Although this skill, it's hard to use, but the damage multiplier on this skill is not that great, to be honest. But it's kind of unfortunate they completely killed this skill. They killed it so freaking hard. But oh well. What can you do? Vulnerability, chance to aggravate bleeding, base duration, and Warlord's Mark, chance to grant an endurance charge when hit. Well, I guess the quality on marks got buffed pretty freaking hard. Not gonna lie. That's a pretty good buff on the Warlord's Mark and the other marks. So you're gonna be gaining charges on bosses pretty consistently with this 10% extra quality. Not gonna lie, with this 10% quality, and if you're gonna have Warlord's like Mark with percent quality corruption, you go from 5% chance to grant a charge when hit to 8%. That's a 60% bonus. That's pretty good to generate charges on bosses. That's a nice buff, honestly. Honestly, pretty good. Alright, let's take a look at the green gems. It was too OP and too used. Yeah, it was kind of a crazy skill because you could just like literally use it against pinnacle bosses on the other side of the screen, and it would just still like kill bosses, and it was just like mechanically the skill was overpowered. And now it's, on the other hand, I think it's over nerfed now. It's just not that good. Alright, Alchemist Mark, Ambush, Animate Weapon, got +1 extra weapon. Arctic Armor gets skill effect duration. I like this skill. You know, this skill is obviously one of the most broken skills in the game. If you have 100% cold and lightning damage converted to fire, especially with CI. Holy smokes, this skill is freaking busted then. Insane skill. You know, we have new Relicarian, right? you actually can't do that without Sublime. Just, you know, which freaking costs like 50 mirrors. Artillery Ballista is the same. No buffs on Barrage. No buffs here. I mean, just 0.5 second duration. Blade Blast, Blade Flurry. Blade Flurry got buffed. Oh, you know when was the last time I used Blade Flurry? Bro, you wanna see something, guys? Hold on a second. I'm gonna try to find it. Can I even find it somehow? Is there a way in the universe I'm going to find this thing? I don't think I'm going to find this thing because it was on my old channel. Hold on. Immune Hova Jug. I found it. Holy smokes. 7 years ago. That was basically the first build I released in this game. That was way before I even started streaming League of Legends, let alone Path of Exile. I mean, I've been streaming Path of Exile for like a year now or something. That was Immune Hova Jack in patch 3.3, bros. 3.3. I used Blade Flurry on this. I used Blade Flurry. There are two options basically. The highest damage multiplier skills were Blade Flurry and Molten Strike. Which arguably I think Molten Strike was still better. Bro, it's been so long ago. This freaking video made like 30,000 views. Holy smokes. That was the guide. That was actually a big guide, boys. It had 290 pages of comments. That was a big ass freaking guide, not gonna lie. I remember like a lot of streamers were playing that build back then. Because it was legitimately like the OG build of like basically being immune to everything. You were completely immune to physical damage because of broken Immortal Call with Juggernaut. So you were basically perma-immune. And then you had like 14,000 ES with Incandescent Heart, so like crazy strong versus elemental damage also. You were immune to every debuff in the game. Slows, chills, stuns, poisons, bleeds, everything. Every single freaking debuff in the game you were immune to. There wasn't a debuff that would apply to you. Except for like, I don't know, Maim maybe. But you could get immunity to Maim on the freaking Jewel Corruption, so that's that. Alright, but enough of this. that's good enough. Trip to the past. People with toaster PC complain because of FPS spikes and they changed. Nah, I think they nerfed Molten Strike so hard it's because it was straight up overpowered. Molten Strike worked the way Smite works now, in a way that you could do a double hit with Ancestor Call. So if you were hitting something with Molten Strike, it didn't work like nowadays that you literally just have to hit something to produce balls. You could literally produce double balls. And it was busted because you had Wildfire Unique Jewel that was giving you +4 projectiles if you had 2 of them. Then you had Helmet Enchant that gave you +3 projectiles, and you could like literally have insane amount of... The damage multiplier on this build was freaking... Basically, it was like Zenith. Zenith level of... Molten Strike of Zenith level of damage, but the only difference is that you didn't have to use a two-handed weapon. It was crazy overpowered, Molten Strike, back then. Trust me, guys. Double balls. More balls, always better, right? Alright, let's see. But Blade Flurry got what? More damage with its annulments. So the Blade Flurry got from 45% more to 55% more. That's like 7% more damage on the Blade Flurry. From the quality. Completely changed the skill animation. It was my favorite skill. Yeah, Molten Strike was really fun. I mean, it's still fun. It's just, it's not like as overpowered. You know, out of curiosity, because I haven't actually seen that in a long time, what's the damage multiplier on Molten Strike? What's the damage effectiveness in total? So you have 4 projectiles. I mean, it's gonna be hard to calculate because you also need to. It's gonna be hard to calculate. You also need to use GMP, obviously. It's gonna be hard to calculate like just like that. It still has very high damage multiplier though. Like very, very high. So I don't know, let's just say that you're using Molten Strike and you have greater multiple projectiles, or awaken greater multiple projectiles, and you have Dying Sun, okay? So it's 3 to 9. The damage penalty from GMP, I think 25% or something like that, times 0.45 times 11 projectiles, but like half of them are gonna hit, and then you get 329 from the... I mean, it's freaking hard to say, man. I don't know how many projectiles hit nowadays on Molten Strike. I legitimately don't know. It's still... Obviously, you can double that with Nimbus, so with Nimbus it gets freaking insane, right? The skill. Like, it's absolutely crazy, and obviously Zenith gets even better. I don't know why this thing exists in this game. This should get freaking removed. Who uses Vol Molten Strike? Guys, like, admit, like, have you ever used this skill? I used it once and I just never took it after. This skill is so bad. But Zenith, I mean... this definitely is like the highest damage multiplier melee skill in the game. But obviously requires a two-hander and it's kind of clunky. Because you're doing no damage and then you're just like overkilling everything. Oh, and now that wow, Zenith got buffed pretty hard too. Because it went from 800% more damage with its alignment to 900% more damage. So Zenith got buffed by like 12.5% more damage. Exactly 12.5% more damage on Zenith. Connor is probably pretty happy. I don't know if he's gonna be playing Zenith, but that's actually one of the biggest buffs that we've seen from the quality changes so far. 12.5% more damage on Zenith, actually. Well, okay, it's not exactly that much because it's a little bit less than that. It's 12.5 on the final hit, but the other hits don't get anything, so it's a little bit less than that, but it's about 10% more damage. More or less. Suggested the Vol Motor Strike via a Facebook direct message to GG, not gonna lie, they added it later, I'm not kidding. It's above 1,000 before the last nerf, but Zenith's just too broken. It's slow though. Yeah, Zenith is a skill that basically you pay the price for its insane damage. And the price is you need to use a two-hander, and it's clunky to use. But single target, it's still like, it's very, very high. I don't know, like I'm going to do math in my head. If you're setting this up properly, it probably has like 2,500 damage multiplier against single target. Probably around something like this. Which actually, when you think about it, it's not that much worse than Fartis. Fartis is also getting up there, because Fartis has, what? Obviously, you still need to use a staff, and you're probably forced to use Melee Splash. But Fartis has 552 times 2 from Intelligence times 0.85. So Fartis does 938 damage multiplier, but you have Chrono Vice at 180 efficiency. So Fartis is pretty strong, too. You need to use the staff, though. Heavy Strike of Fart is looking pretty clean. You probably need to play Inquisitor though to actually use that. Because Inquisitor at this point you're stacking Strength, Intelligence, and you're doing this, right? Because this skill is so freaking balanced. You're just doing that, and you have double damage and you're crit capped at the same time. That's what you gotta do with this. Speaking of Inquisitor, don't sleep off Instruments of Zeal, boys. I think this is like legitimately the strongest notable in the game right now. After the buffs. They changed it so that you only have 3 maximum fanatic charges, and it lasts for 5 seconds. You have permanent Instruments of Zeal. Like, I don't know who freaking was designing this skill, but this is, I think, like, legitimately the strongest freaking notable in the game. You have it permanent. As long as you use shield charge, you have that permanently. Perma. All the time. All the time you have this buff. 24/7. 75% more cast speed, 75% less cost, and 75% increased area of effect. You have it permanently, 100% uptime. And I've already made a character in the past, few years ago, with Instruments of Zeal. And it already, this buff already, it was up, my uptime was, I don't know, maybe like about 70% or something like this. It already felt kind of overpowered. And now it's gonna be 100% uptime. The skill is freaking disgusting after buffs. Like, legitimately disgusting. Insanely overpowered. And we're gonna get to theory crafting that, by the way, a little bit later. No, I was legitimately thinking about doing like a ball lightning build because of this. This is so disgusting on ball lightning or of orbiting, because ball lightning got buffed pretty hard, and on top of that you get 75% area of effect and 75% more cast speed. Bro, you can even do arc if you want to, but obviously with arc you lose the area. Man, like, we have so many things to go over that I'm just literally going to get lost. You know what? Let's finish these skills first, and then we're gonna jump into patch notes. How about that? Like, let's literally just finish these. Okay, so Blade Flurry, probably, you know, not gonna play that still. So we have Bladeful, we have, just hurry up a little bit, because Blood Rage got a little bit of attack speed, okay. Charge Dash, 10% movement speed, okay. Want to try a spell scaling with HP, the new Scion for the League? You could probably do that. There is the sky is the limit with these new Legion uniques. Holy smokes, you can do so much. It's actually insane. Conflagration, Cremation. Cyclone got increased area of effect per 0.1 meter additional melee strike range. Wonder how much that's gonna be actually. Nah, so that I don't forget, I'm just gonna show you. I always loved this skill. Like, so the buffs on Ball Lightning, they increased the radius by 11%, which is freaking huge, by the way. That's big. That is a lot of extra damage on Ball Lightning, unironically. That is damage and clear at the same time. The more area you have on this skill, the more clear and damage you have simultaneously. It has quadratic scaling pretty much. And on top of that, they buffed the cast time by about, what, 16-17% more cast speed. So that's 16-17% more damage here. And that's probably like, at times, you're gonna hit enemies one more time, or bosses. That's like, sometimes it's gonna be like 20% more damage. Or like 15 or something. Ball Lightning got buffed pretty freaking hard. And Inquisitor, Inquisitor doesn't give a shit, man, because Inquisitor has a permanent freaking 75% less cost of skills. You just literally slap Inspiration as a support, and you don't have mana costs, pretty much. Your spells are gonna be costing 20 mana or something. With Fanaticism. It's disgusting. 75% area too, for clear skin, because why not? Crazy strong. And Orbiting obviously also got... That's That's even better buff when it comes to cast speed. That's like almost 20% at this point. Close to 20% more damage on orbiting. I don't know what this does. Ball lightning of static. Cast time of 0.6, previously 0.7. The mana cost increased by, now has 4 cooldown uses, previously 3. Ball lightning of static? Hold on a second. Ball lightning of static. Raise a ball of lightning in location. Damages each enemy in the area around it repeatedly with bolts of lightning. Cannot be supported by spell echo or used by totems. Cooldown recovery rate. So you have 4 uses now. Cooldown is 1.5. So I guess it got buffed here because it's gonna have 30% cooldown recovery rate from 20. So that's a little bit better. The base radius is freaking massive. 2.8 meters. What's the damage multiplier? Effectiveness 90%. 950 damage. The effectiveness on this one is 50%, the effectiveness is 60%. Honestly, what's the duration on this? Single projectile which moves in a spiral. Oh, no, hold on. Creates a ball of lightning location that damages each enemy in the area around it repeatedly with bolts of lightning. Cannot be supported by spellco or user totems. I think bolts will strike all nearby targets every 1.5 milliseconds were inside the area of effect of the ball. Increases reduction. Deliberate traps do not share. Increases reduction's area of effect will alter the range of the ball, making enemies further away or closer. Modifiers to area. Enemies further away or closer. Modifiers to area damage. Okay, I know that. Well, lightning duration is fixed. There's no duration component, thus it cannot be modified. Bolt lifetime is 2 seconds. Okay, so it hits 13 times before dissipating. 13 times. Holy smokes, this skill freaking hits hard. In that case. 13 times? 13 times this? Damn. This skill has freaking massive damage multiplier, but obviously the skill itself is kind of shitty. It's kind of... It's not the best skill, let's be honest. It has a cooldown too, but it hits pretty hard. Alright, let's keep on going with these. Double Strike got 10% extra chance to deal double damage to bleeding enemies. It's not bad. It's not a horrible buff for sure. Dual Strike, more damage with elements against enemies that are on full life. Elemental Hit, more damage for each elemental element. I mean, Elemental Hit got hit pretty hard regardless. Double Strike with Impaling Momentum. Let's take a look at these. Not gonna lie, I really like Double Strike of Momentum as a skill itself. And not going to lie, it is freaking fun to use. It's gonna have 16% more attack speed for each stage from 14 now. So it's gonna have 160% more attack speed from 140%. That's a big buff. That's like almost 10% more damage, basically. And it hits insanely fast, obviously. Two fast strikes with melee weapon, gaining stages, bada beam, bada boom. I always wanted this skill always kind of had good synergy with trauma support. Because trauma gives you flat damage per trauma. And then if you build your character so that you're basically immune to physical damage, you could, for example, do recoup or something like that. And you get insane recovery, plus you just gotta scale insane amount of attack speed, right? And that's also a build but it's only limited to axes, maces, scepters, or staves. So keep that in mind. But with this skill, you can hit like 25, 30 attacks per second or something if you're building properly, and it is pretty fun. Not gonna lie. And double strike of impaling got 20% impale effect. Also pretty strong. Not gonna lie. Also not bad. Let's see dual strike of ambidexterity. Okay, so ambidexterity got from 70 to 80% more damage with main hand weapon. So about 77% more damage. I mean, it's also a buff for sure, right? It's also a buff. This skill is still really good. That would be a nice build, like having ephemeral edge on main hand and like a really fast weapon on offhand. And like building ES, something. That would be kind of fun. Like CI ES. Elemental hit, ensnaring arrow, ethereal knives, +1 projectiles. Explosive concoction. Like, we're not gonna ever freaking stop. Like, we're never gonna finish this, so I'm just going to try to scroll them a little bit faster. Are those wiki gem lists all updated? But I'm not really checking spells right now, so I'm only checking really the skills that have interesting quality effects, and there are no changes to qualities, so we're good. Flicker got additional 5% chance to gain a frenzy charge on hit. From 20 to 30. 25 to 30 in total. So flickers, rejoice. Comrade. Comrades. Frenzy got... Ooh, Frenzy went from 7% more attack damage per frenzy charge and 7% more attack speed per frenzy charge to 8. Frenzy charge stackers. Did this skill, you could probably scale it pretty freaking hard, not gonna lie. You probably could. Frostbite's got +1 projectile, that's, I think, extremely whatever. Projectile speed and galvanic arrow. Glacial shield swipe. What the heck is that skill? Oh, it's a retaliation skill, that's why I didn't know what it is. Fair enough, that makes sense now. Increased area of effect on grace, haste, increased area of effect, increased area of effect. Ooh, big buffs for freaking aura skills. Let's go. Herald of Agony, maximum virulence. Gonna get +2. That's not a big deal. Herald of Ice got additional meter radius. Ice shot, ice trap, lacerate. Although I loved this skill in the past. I haven't played it in a long time. Increased attack speed if you've changed stance recently. Oh, that's freaking awful, man. What about... Okay, that's big. That's better for bleed builds. And then 0.25 meter radius on lacerate of butchering. Slashes twice, releasing mind wave that forces an enemy and damage they hit. Enemies in the middle of the slashes can be hit by both. The attack speed is extremely slow on this. No. Like, insanely slow. Okay. Next. Lancing Steel, Lightning Arrow. +1 hit. Lightning Strike got jack shit. Unless you can buff these skills somehow to 40% quality without doing any stupid shenanigans like Dialas or enhanced support, then skills like that got nothing. Literally nothing. So they didn't get buffed, basically, because of the quality changes, right? The quality changes, the quality buffs gave these skills nothing at all, which kind of sucks. Mirror Arrow, Pestilence Strike, Phase Run, 5% increased movement speed. A Plague Bear, Poacher Mark. So there it is. So on marks again, you go from 5% to 8% with the corruption to grant frenzy charge when hit. That's pretty strong. Poison concoction, precision, puncture, purity of ice, additional cold resistance, +2 arrows and rain of arrows. Reeve got +1 maximum stage. Damn. From 6 to 7 stages. That's kind of cool. And I guess with Vol Reeve, you're gonna get... So you're gonna have 9 stages in total, I think. Is that what it means? Yeah, I mean, Reeve doesn't do damage, but the area on the skill is gonna be freaking insane. And I mean, the damage is like not that atrocious, honestly, on this skill. For like screen-wide area, directions, each are Reeve grants stages which you will begin to lose after a short period of time. Well, Reeve of Refraction. Attacks an area in front of you which hits enemies, grants stages we will begin to lose. Okay, and this one converts damage to elementals, to elemental damage. Okay. Scourge arrows, seismic trap, shattering steel, increased impale effect. Okay, 20% extra. Snipe. A little bit damage boost on Sniper's Mark, Spectral Helix, Spectral Throw. Spectral Throw got buffed nicely, I guess. Split Arrow, Splitting Steel, Storm Rain. Okay, because as I said before, we're never gonna finish these. we have stuff to do, boys. Whirling Blades, attack speed. As for the blues, you know what? I think we're not gonna be checking all of those. I'll be just checking the spells that are interesting to me from the patch notes. And then checking the qualities on these skills. So otherwise, it's just gonna take too long. One thing though, I kind of do want to do. Holy Hammers. Okay, Holy Hammers actually got a pretty decent buff, not gonna lie. Also, Holy Hammers gets 30% more damage when expending a power charge from 20. So this skill got buffed. Can you link the patch notes? Sure. This skill got buffed nicely. But I don't know. Maybe the other version of this skill is gonna be better. You know, that they added. But I've tried playing with the skill and it's okay. It's just okay, and that's all there is to it. It's not like amazing. Maybe the transfigured one is gonna be better. I don't know. Alright, so the patch notes. Let's go through them real fast. I'm not gonna be reading the changes that you know. They just added this to the game or that. Exceptional gem, Pact of Beta, cast empowering spells, added a fire projectiles, apply an effect to an area, general location, chaining beams causing little more damage and enhanced coverage. Empowering your damage over time spells, but burning with affliction. Damage over time, then vol spells. Cast a pact, empowering the next channeling spell you cast yourself, but burning with affliction. Empowered spells you more damage, particularly trigger lightning bolts while channeling. Coursing currents, hit enemies, providing increased effect of chill, shock enemies, paired with elemental hit. Oh, you know, this support is potentially going to be kind of insane for us. This support potentially is going to make a big damage boost for us, actually. You know why? Because on Brutus build, we're using this. So we have maximum effect of chill and maximum effect of shock with this on the Brutus build. That support is potentially insane. Insane for us. I was thinking about it. I saw this freaking support in the patch notes before. Potentially insane support, actually. It's like we would just replace it for, well, this is a Sunder version, but whatever I had on Smite, right? Whatever I had on Smite before. Brutus, whatever, this. And here I had Smite with critical. We would replace that for Elemental Focus. Elemental Focus gone, and then we're doing max shocks. Like, actually. Can you link your Brutus POB too, please? I don't even know which one is up to date, so we're gonna be working on the new one. And I'm not gonna be sending anything right now. But this support is exceptionally good with this mastery for our build. It's actually exceptionally good. Super strong. Hold on, let me read. Coursing current. Support skills that hit enemies, providing increased effect of chill and shock inflicted with supported skills, causing enemies to be chilled when they are shocked by your hits, and shocked when they are chilled by your hits. So I am going to assume that increased effect of chill is also going to work on that shock that... Man, that's gonna be a big support, I'm telling you. That's going to be big for us, I can tell you right now. We're gonna be chilling and shocking at the same time. Just with this mastery. At the cost of support. But with increased effect on top of that, that actually might be a lot of damage. And I'm assuming you could even get like some additional effect of ailments somewhere else to even boost that effect. So that's actually a really good buff. Like, unironically, a really good buff for us. So we are going to have very good effect of shock and stuff like that because Smite hits pretty hard. We hit pretty hard. We don't have a lot of attack speed. So yeah, the effect of shock and chill are going to be like very high most of the time. That's amazing, actually. Wonder if we can actually do anything with this because we are going to be igniting, chilling, and shocking enemies at the same time. We're gonna have all three elements on enemies permanently. So I wonder if we can actually do something about that with this support. You know? Could we? Now that I think about it, is there anything crazy that gives you more damage per ailment on enemy or something like that? There is, right? There's an amulet, I think. Well, we can't use amulet because we need to use this. That's just... I mean, Zov's blood is just too good. Yeah, it's yoke, basically. But that Zov's blood is just too good, we can't replace that. I don't think so. Yoke of suffering. Yeah, so enemies will be taking 30% increased damage in total. I mean, that's freaking crazy. Your elemental damage can shock also. Oh, crap. This amulet is gonna be really... I mean, we already have that, though. We already have that, so this doesn't really make a lot of sense, I guess, when I think about it. Alright. Crystal Fall, Bada Beam. This is a joke. I have to be honest. Like, these skills that supported skills would trigger Falling Crystal and hit, causing a Giant Crystal, Abyssal Soulstone to be called buff. Like, this is such a joke. Like, all of these skills, literally all of them, cost 1 chaos last league. The one that spawned, like, you know, Breach Hands and hits enemies. The other ones, they're so freaking bad. And they probably just added another one, so, like, I don't know. They just... previously, the exceptional gems were so much better for melee skills. What's up, Nyarnir? How are you doing? Alright, Transfigured Skill, Divine Blast of Radiance, Holy Hammers of Spirals, Holy Sweep of Hammerfalls, and Reap of Butchery. Then there is this change, added 2 crafting bench options, unlocked by default 303 modifiers and rare item cost 3 Chaos Orbs and cost 8 Chaos Orbs. There we go. Good, I'm excited to play. That's the same for me. Same for me. I'm gonna be even more excited once I figure out how to make well, we're going to be trying to make a new build, and it's going to be a spellcaster today, actually. But still gonna probably start Brutus. I mean, most definitely gonna start Brutus. League start. Alright, so mercenaries, I have to say, I said that yesterday during the reveal, but I'm really, really, really happy that they solved that this way. And not like basically shoved mercenaries to everyone's throats. I am really happy that they did that, and I mean, I really am. Because if they did it differently, then I really, personally, and I know a lot of people will share this opinion, I really don't like mercenaries. Like, I just want to be freaking playing by myself and not like having to equip like new items into my ally, like, you know. For the same reason I'm not a big fan of mercenaries in Diablo 2, for example. So it's good that there's going to be one class for mercenaries and the rest of us just don't have to deal with that, right? I think that's a great solution. What spell are you thinking about? Probably Bowl Lightning, maybe Arc, something, we'll see. So that's really good. Abyss revamp. Okay, hold on, let's see the modifiers. Oh, stairs, for example, the increased effect of lightning elements, we could get a little bit of that stat. Up to 20%, 8% increased impulse effect. Mana got nerfed. Damage taken recouped as mana. The flood damage on these got buffed only for spells though. And then spells. Unholy Might on kill. Minion speed, effect of curses. That's actually pretty strong. You could like slap in a few of those and be curse immune. That's not bad. Avoid elemental ailments when you have elusive. 20%. Ooh. Hindered by a 35% reduced life regeneration rate. And critical strike chance. Okay. Legion revamp. So obviously we do know what these unique items will do. The reward from League Mechanic. This, obviously, this is all the emblems. Incubators are gone. Timeless Delirium Orb is gone. Okay, there we go. Then gem socket changes. So, you know, the changes that we know. Plus 10 equality. White by default. Such a good freaking change, dude. Such a good change. It really is. Like, PoE1 needed that for a long time. It's just, you know, doing these colors, especially during leveling and stuff like that, it was just like additional friction that wasn't really necessary. It really wasn't. It was just more of a pain in the ass than something that was necessary to be in a game. I mean, both too. I mean, most people love them, and that's fine. But depending on the NPCs, good to deal with good damage is not my thing. Yeah, I think so too, Shinra. Just like I'm playing ARPG, I'm by my freaking self. I don't need help. I'll be fine by myself. I don't need to shove help down my throat or something. Wait, so there's no more color sockets? There will be. Every item is going to spawn by default with white sockets, so you can put any gem you want in there. And then you can chrome your items to still get socket colors. And then if you put a red gem into a red socket, for example, they gain 10% additional quality. So it's a thing that by default you're gonna be able to put everything everywhere, and this is gonna be like for min-maxing to gain additional quality on your skills. Really good freaking change, amazing change, actually. Really, really good. What about white sockets? You can just put everything in there, but the white sockets will not give you that boost, right? Free aura for a few maps is always nice, but maxing aura bot was too much. Yeah, I think generally it was really it would be a nightmare to balance mercenaries with the Rianis and all that stuff. Like, how do you balance that, right? Like every mercenary in a game would be basically the Rianis. Every build in the game needs to be a lightning build. Because how can you justify not using that? Like, you know what I mean. So chromes. Okay, currency that adds sockets. Okay. The result of these changes, chromatic orbs are now rare, no longer sold by vendors. Okay. So chromes, pick chromes up, boys. It's gonna be expensive. The corruption outcome of all orbs changes sockets and abuse equipment to a white socket has been removed. The outcome instead now turns a random white socket into a non-white socket. Great. So it's basically dead still. Doesn't do anything. Trinkets modifiers and the chance of chromatic orbs now drop as jeweler orbs, bada beam. Trinket modifiers, jeweler orbs, bada beam. Okay, all that stuff. Let me just, go through these changes real fast. Station option to reforge the color of the random socket item turning white has been removed. Sure. Hidden property of them preventing them from having white sockets. Diala's skin of the Lord, skin of the loyal. Ooh. Diala's malefaction, unique body armor. Now that I think about it, skin of the Lord and skin of the loyal is going to be so much more usable now. Just you can still put every gem in there, in those slots. Man, that's so good. I haven't used them in a long time, but still. Unique body armor now has gems socketed always have the quality bonus from socket color. It no longer has gems can be socketed in this item, ignoring a solid color, socket color as default behavior. Exchange effects so the gem socketed in green sockets has plus 20% quality. Okay, so you're still basically gonna be getting plus 30% quality. That's about it. Pariah, up to 200 life, mana, or maximum energy shield. 240 life with quality. This ring is like actually not that bad. Plus 2 levels to get the gems, attack speed, cast speed. 10% attack speed, for example, up to 240 life. And plus 2 socketed like aura gem or something. Gonna put an aura in here. Plasmatic Crypt's unique sword, global physical damage, that's whatever. I saw these before and I didn't see anything particularly interesting here. Untouched soul plus 12 resistances per white socket. On equipped item, previously 18. You will be able to get a lot of res from that. Holy smokes. 20% increased bonuses from Quiver on a bow mastery. Staff passive mastery, I think nerfed slightly. 30% increased armor and evasion rating if your main hand weapon has a red and green socket. Okay. Enhancements on body armor, weapons, bada beam, bada boom. Talismans. You know what? There is one problem when it comes to talismans. I think that Eyes of the Great Wolf got freaking nuked. Depending on what these implicits, these enchantments are gonna be. Hopefully there's gonna be a combination that's gonna be really strong. But freaking A, man. And I'm also curious if this enhancement is going to count as a explicit modifier. What I mean by that is if it's going to be affected by catalysts. That's also important. I have no idea, I'll be honest. All talisman base type no longer attainable. Okay, this thing, Eyes of the Great Wolf now generates 2 random enchantment modifiers from the talisman base types. 50 to 100 increased enchantment modifier magnitudes. I don't know, like they nerfed it, which means that am I going to be coping if I'm going to say that because they nerfed this, some of these enchantments are going to be super strong? They even said that during the reveal. So like hopefully they're going to be strong, but like just freaking coping right there. Not gonna lie. Natural hierarchy. Unique talisman is now found in Rex talisman base type. Bada beam, bada boom. Rigwald's curse. Beastery bosses increased life. Okay. League changes. It's whatever. Betrayal. Breach got Giga nerfed, by the way. It's gonna have way less monsters in him now. So Breach nerfs, and that was already one of the best farms. Which means that, what are we going to be farming now? Freaking Abyss and endgame mechanic. The league mechanic. Reflect is gone. Also, Reflect is completely gone. It's gonna be like elemental thorns and physical thorns now, which should be doing basically nothing. So Reflect is gone, boys. Don't need to worry about that anymore, which is nice. And one change that actually kind of sucks, and it is like kind of a nerf. Very late game though, very late game. Definitely not like early game. Reduce the average amount of modifier effect applied to explicit modifiers when using a reflecting mist currency on an item. This change does not affect the amount of modifier effect on mirror jewelry when interacting with reflecting mist object. That doesn't matter because you're not gonna be gaining helical rings, so it doesn't matter. This sucks for stat stackers, not only but mainly for stat stackers. This sucks, my friends. And yeah, this is painful. Depending on how much they're gonna nerf that, but it's probably going to be painful. Let's be honest. When they say something like that, that means that it's probably gonna be freaking painful. Prophecy cluster, the Atlas passive tree. Okay, that's whatever. They added just a little bit. Player changes. Avoidance, something, bada beam, bada boom. Alright. Ascendancy changes. So Assassin got the bifurcate. Logo strikes, bada beam. I think they showed it's going to be. No, wait, hold on a second. It now grants spell critical strike chance bifurcates and 30% less spell critical strike chance. Only 30%? I thought it was 50%. And this is a very strong node for assassins, for spells, generally speaking. Totem's Ritual of Awakening passive skill now at 3% more damage per summon totem. That's freaking gigantic nerf for Hierophant. So they don't like totems, apparently. So Inquisitor got Sandstorms here. And Instruments of Zeal is one of the best, if not the best, notables in the freaking game. Because you can have this buff over here freaking permanently. As long as you're using shield charge. So 75% more cast speed, 75% less mana cost. No, generally cost. And 75% increased area of effect. Yeah, that's balanced for sure. Give something like that to, give warriors, like they need to use lightning warp every 2 seconds, right? And they have 75% more attack speed and 75% increased area of effect. Give warriors something like that. I wonder what's gonna happen on Reddit. Holy smokes. Cultist for channeling, Relicarian, saw that before. Cane Conservation Notable grants 10% attack speed, 3% intelligence, mana efficiency. Anyway, we have mana efficiency now. There is no sources of reduced mana cost anymore, anywhere. Alright, so when it comes to these skills, we're gonna go through them really quickly. Arcane Cloak, 10% mana spent from 10 to 14. Arcane Cloak got hit pretty hard. Absolution Inspiring. So Arc got buffed by about 60% more damage, but higher mana cost. So, well, again, for Inquisitor, that's not gonna be a problem. Arc of Surging. Again, then Brand. So Ball Lightning is definitely contender. I'm going to like literally just fly through these. Hold on a second. I must be freaking... I could have sworn that I was reading these patch notes yesterday. I saw an Archmage nerf here. Maybe it's somewhere else. Archmage. Oh, it's over here. Okay. Support gem changes, of course. My bad. Of course. Holy smokes, that is gargantuan list of spells. They were not horsing around with these changes. It's freaking spells. I'm not reading all of that. Archmage. I read that already yesterday and... Castwell channeling. And when it comes to unique item changes, the biggest change for us is the nerf of where is it? The change of rat pits, right? Gem changes, POB codes. Hold on. Let me take a look. Ooh, that looks nice. Oh, that looks so much better. Thank you for that. Yeah, so about 50% buff on Arc. Arcane Cloak, big nerf. Ball Lightning, 50% buff, plus big buff over here. Holy smokes, someone did a good job actually doing that. Holy smokes, that's freaking nice. Did a good job doing that, I'll tell you. Fireball got buffed pretty hard. But yeah, from what I remember, like the kinetic blast and some of these skills with Arcane Might got nerfed really. Yeah, there you go. These got freaking destroyed. Alright. Sorry, I'm just going to go through them like insanely fast because there's like no melee changes whatsoever. The change that does affect us is this one, right? It's 3% increased spell damage per 100 maximum player life, and that will probably make me use a different shield. Especially, well, on paper we could use like a unique shield and try to hit this on like from like Legion. That would be freaking crazy, but yeah, that'd be probably like one of the best things we could do. Item changes. There's the corruptions. Mana reservation efficiency, specific auras and rings. Frenzy power, endurance charges on the rings, corruption. Yo, doesn't that mean that you can roll... Wow. Doesn't that mean that you can roll this Deep Delve ring that has +1 charge and get additional +1 charge on them? So that's rings with +2 charges. That's kinda crazy, isn't it? Actually sounds kinda crazy to me. Versatile combatant and glancing blows on shields. Wow. Potentially very strong, actually. So if you get versatile combatant, that is pretty damn strong, dude. That's like potentially like enabler for very easy 65% attack block and spell block for Aegis setup. So that's actually pretty good. Plus 10% quality of secreted gems on weapons and shields. Corruption. Ooh. So you could get up to 40% quality this way. That's pretty potent. And that has some potential. Unaffected by burning, chilled, shocking, desecrated crown to boots. Unwavering stance to boots. So side immunity on boots, that's pretty good. Up to 29 chaos resistance. 16 all res. Action speed. These are kind of crappy. Okay. Updates. Hold up a second. Mystical Infusion, notable passive skill, no longer grants base chance spells is equal to that main hand weapon. So no longer grants base spell critical strike chance of spells is equal to that of the main hand weapon. Now grants spell critical chance bifurcates. Represent less spell critical chance. So they did change that. They changed it from 30% to 50% to 30% again, I think. They just can't make up their minds. But anyways, let's take a look at Brutus and what these changes actually mean to us. So first of all, let's do this. And not gonna lie, boys, from all the skills that we watched, that we've seen, I think that at the end of the day, we are going to be doing Smite. So let's drop that. And we're going to be doing regular Smite, actually. Ball, Vol, Smite. There we go. 20 quality. 20 quality. Let's just say 21, whatever. Enable Vol Smite, yes. Smite. Boom. Area, melee hit. Then we're gonna do fire penetration here. Crit multi. This. We're gonna save one support for the support that's gonna be giving us shock. And the last one here will be probably multi-strike. Most definitely multi-strike. And then we would need to change this to... I mean, I don't need to change that in POB, right? We're gonna be fine. Oh, okay, whatever. Let's do this. Could also do this from the scratch, also. But this is from 3.28, so, you know, there's like basically no changes on the passive tree and stuff, so it should be fine. This is taken from literally from in-game, right? Yeah, I think so. So the gloves would be something like this. Strength, attack speed, life, and some resistance. These gloves, by the way, were really assy. There we go. And then strike skills target additional nearby enemy. We probably want 2. in here. Fire exposure and hit. That's fine. There, there we go. Okay, so we got this, and that's with Smite. And then we would be using this support that would allow us to gain shock. So we would be doing shocks. I'll be honest, I have no freaking idea how much effect of shock on average we would have, especially with increased effect of shock from this item. But let's just say, I don't know, 30% or something. I think it could go up to 50, not gonna lie. That's almost 20 million Shaper DPS already. Smite Chieftain, SSF viable, you must get Brutus. I mean, for my build, you must get Brutus. That's how the build functions, that's how it's designed. It's designed around having Brutus, and that's really it. So... Alright, save this. Save as, actually, 3.29 Brutus. Something like that. For now, it's okay. Man, some of the items I had here were really, really assy. I gotta be honest. Some of them were not the best. Alright, so I'm thinking if we... I don't think there's any sense in actually keeping rat pits in a build like this. After 40% nerf, this item is going to be giving us like 25% more damage, something like that. 25% more. This is not even like the correct number, because we aren't losing that much simply because we probably have some jewels that give us, you know, attack speed while holding a shield or something like that. So some modifiers on the tree, perhaps I do. Okay, let's take a look at unique shields. Lycosidae. Bro, imagine, just freaking imagine for a second, if we could get this mod from this shield, from Red Blade Banner. Warcries have infinite power. Damn, man. This is not hard to get. And then we could get like an actual shield. Bro, imagine Warcries have infinite power with, I don't know, an Aegis or something like that. Wow. But I mean, it's just like, you know, we're guessing. We're guessing at this point. We are literally guessing. It's unlikely that's gonna happen, right? Coward's Whale. Tukohama's Fortress. There's nothing interesting here. Coward's Whale. Increased armor. That's actually a lot of armor. Chance to block totems, which was killed by his unexpected totems for 8 seconds instead. Wavering stance. Anticipation. You know, anticipation, maybe not anticipation, but surrender. Nah, okay, never mind. Surrender is not gonna happen. Because the way this mechanic works is that you need to sacrifice an item, and then you're gonna get a regular item from normal drop pool that's gonna have one of these modifiers. And surrender is not in regular drop pool because it's freaking from breach. So forget about that, I guess. Surrender by itself would be a nice shield to use instead of rat pits, because we are block capped on this build. So we're covering 500 block every time 500 life every time you block. 1500 armor for clear skin also. Not bad. Even if it gives like 10 power, it's still good. It'll be pretty good, true. Getting rat pits like that with your war cries have 10 power, that would be pretty strong. Dawnbreaker, Lionized Remorse. This shield, by the way, got buffed. It's minus 150 physical damage taken from projectile attacks. I still don't think it's great, but it's what it is. Cult and Halt. Physical damage is extra cold damage. What a beam. Mute Wind Pennant. I wonder what would happen with this, by the way. Can you even, like... I doubt it, but can you even, like, think about getting that modifier? Your lucky or unlucky effects use the best or worst from 3 rolls instead of 2. Yo, by the way... Is this still a thing that you get 3 rolls on a gladiator with this? Is it still like that busted? If you've blocked recently, it's lucky, which means that you get 3 times the lucky. Like you're still basically immortal if you have this shield on gladiator. It's not like basically immortal because, you know, there's damage over time and stuff, but you basically cannot get hit, right? So you get 75% block chance 3 times before something can hit you. So that's kind of ridiculous. So you're gonna have 1 in 64 chance that something's gonna hit you. Long story short. Because this shield is freaking busted on gladiator. Mist wall. Okay. Well, one option that we could use is Light of the Lunaris as a replacement. Light of the Lunaris, unironically, is not much worse. Not much worse than Rat Pits. It is a little bit worse, but it's not that much worse. So now we have 10.6 million. We put Light of the Lunaris, but at this point we probably do want to swap critical damage for something else. Yeah, it's still critical damage. Never mind. Still critical damage. Could maybe do inspiration, but critical damage is still good after that. So that's like an extremely cheap way of gaining it's just like slightly worse than Rat Pits. Like compared to nerfed Rat Pits, this is basically borderline the same, and you gain more block also, which is, you know, a bonus. So we could just use that. On top of that, it's going to be pretty easy to get a corruption on this shield because it's not expensive. So that's one option. Mana Storm, Apep Slumber. What do you guys think about Malachi's loop? Do you think there's gonna be like one thing that is gonna give you +2 power, maximum power charges? Nah. It's probably gonna be +1, something tells me. It's probably gonna be +1. 40% elemental damage from hits taken as physical damage. Bro. That would be cracked beyond belief. If you could actually transfer this mod, but it's probably going to get nerfed to like 20% or something. If you could transfer 20% of elemental damage from hits taken as physical damage on an actual, I don't want to say armor stacker, but let's just say like a Juggernaut with like 100,000 armor and some PDR on top of that. Bro, this would be freaking huge. huge ass shield. This is a global drop, right? No, it does have restrictions when it can drop. It cannot be chanced. Drops from native enemies to Viridian Wildwood or ritual encounters. So you can't do this one? No freaking way. No, I mean you can because you can't do that. No, it's fine. Elemental damage from hits taken as physical damage. Combined with Divine Flesh, 90% of elemental damage from hits taken as physical or chaos. This allows for skipping gearing for elemental resistance modifiers for hits and instead use Doppelganger guys more effectively. Veil of Night can also be used to set negative resistance to 0 to help mitigate over time. From hits, okay. I wonder if you can... Freaking Veil of Night build. Freaking Haven. I wonder if you can use the Volatile Chaos Orb to increase this value to like 48 or something, or 49. You know? I mean, that's still... That would be like really rough, right? That would be really, really rough. It wouldn't be that rough because from hits, you could just... You would be taking pure chaos and... Bro, that's kind of freaking busted beyond belief. Hold up a second. Divine Flesh. Elemental damage taken as chaos. Plus 5 maximum chaos. Result damage taken by passes energy. Okay, who cares? So if you could like take all the damage from elements, convert them to physical and chaos. Let's just say 49% from that, 48, and 50% from Divine Flesh. Then you can 49% on trade. There we go. So 49, so you take 1% of your elemental damage as regular elemental damage. That freaking doesn't matter at this point. You would just need to still cap res, but that's it. You would need to cap res against damage over time. That's all there is to it. So that's not a big deal. Even less of a deal because 50% of that you'll be taking as chaos on top of that. So that's even less of a problem. And then you're just gaining maximum chaos resistance and you're freaking playing Juggernaut with this. Aren't you freaking immortal with this? Wouldn't you be completely freaking immortal if you did something like that? You just need to stack armor. And then you're immune to elemental, immune to physical because of your insane amount of armor, and you're immune to chaos. You're immune to everything. Like literally everything. You're immune to everything. And the best part about it is you don't really lose that much. Because you basically need to get this and this. That's what's going to enable that. And that's it. So you don't lose that much, really. How about dot damage? Just cap your resistance. Cap your resistance and 50% of the dot damage you'll be taking as chaos also. So, no, you wouldn't be immune to dots, no. You'll be highly resistant to dots still, but you wouldn't be immune. Dot damage is not a problem usually anyway, but still, yeah. I mean, in extreme cases, if you wanted to be doing Valdos or something, you could still do 90 Olres with Melding and Mage Blood, right? If you really, really wanted. So at that point, you're basically taking no elemental. So you're still a Juggernaut, so you're stacking endurance charges probably. So you're gaining less damage, literally less damage taken, right? Less elemental. You could also get this if you wanted to. That'll be like, I don't know, 8 endurance charges. You'll be taking 40% less elemental damage again. Holy smoke, bro! Like this kind of like legitimately sounds completely immortal on paper. Get this, this, and this, undeniable. Untiring at this point. Who gives a shit? Unstoppable, whatever. What about the damage? I mean, we would figure something out, but I'm just like, you know, spitballing right now. I didn't even know that this shield existed. That's freaking insane. Insane, dude. So you're converting all the damage taken to physical and chaos, and you're stacking armor. I mean, I don't know. Like at this point, you probably be doing a replica and like invest your entirety of your build at this point to armor stacking. Do a replica Dream Feather and get damage that way. And with endurance charges, you get additional physical damage reduction, and every hit you're gonna take is reduced by 90% because of your armor stacking. And every chaos damage you take is also reduced by 90%. And then it gets reduced by your chaos resistance and then by unbreakable. So you literally take none. Take 0. Freaking nada. Wow. That defensively, it kind of sounds freaking crazy as hell. You know what? I kind of want to make like a really quickly like a POB for that. Hold on a second. Just literally a test. So plus 500% to all resistances. There we go. And last refuge. Yeah, there we go. Add to build. Elemental damage taken, 49. And what you need for that is Divine Flesh. From Glorious Vanity. Glorious Vanity. Hey, that kind of sounds fun, dude. Okay, let's do Marauder, continue, Juggernaut, bomb, 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 boom, boom, Unbreakable. Let's do whatever. Jewel over here, Glorious Vanity, boom. Shikabwa. Shikabwa. Glorious Vanity. There we go. These are like whatever. I don't know. Let's path towards like endurance charges for now. I'm not trying to make it like an actual build right now. I'm just trying to see what's gonna happen with defenses. Feels too much to go into armor without replica Dream Feather to benefit the damage stacking. I don't know. Disregard forgot PoE1 armor is actually more useful defensively. Yeah, defensively PoE armor and PoE1 is cracked. Okay, so Flood, Refuge, Bada Beam, and then let's just add like a stupid amount of armor, right? So plus, let's just say we're doing pure armor stacking, right? So let's just say 100,000 to armor. 200,000, that's definitely not enough. 2 million. Okay, let's just say 1.7 million, right? Something like this. Plus 2 maximum life. Okay, something is extremely wrong. Endurance charges. Something is extremely wrong. Let's just say I have fortified too. Okay, so we have Fizz max hit 55k, but why the hell do I have 36,000 elemental max hit right now? Oh, of course, I know why. Okay, there we go. But that still doesn't make sense. 76 elemental max hit? In what universe? In what universe, buddy? Is there a way to get 90% max chaos resistance? Yes, there is. It's not even that hard with cluster jewels. Why do I only have 84k? In what freaking universe? Okay, let's just say that I took 10,000 cold damage, right? So 50% of that is split towards chaos and 50% of that is split towards physical. So that take 5,000 fizz, which is literally... Okay, you know what? Let's do it this way. Let's just say that I took 100,000 LE hit. 100 freaking thousand. So this is equivalent of like, I don't know, like at series double flame blast or something like that. So 50k I take as fizz, and then 50k I take as chaos. And then this 50k as fizz gets reduced by 90% from that, and then by 40% from... I guess that does make sense. No, hold on a second. I need to freaking calculate that. Something's freaking wrong in here. So let's just say I took 100,000 and 50% of that 50% of that I took as fizz. So now I'm taking times 0.1 because of the armor, right? And then I'm taking 40% 8 endurance charges. So I'm taking 0.6 and then fortify 0.8. So yeah, I guess I would take 2400 fizz still. So I guess this number does kind of make sense. It kind of does. It's just you'll be immune to penetration. Completely immune to penetration. Which is cool. But other than that, I guess... Right, it still freaking smells like something is wrong in here. I guess maybe it's because with Transcendence, I got used to armor stackers having 90% damage reduction and then 90% damage reduction. So Transcendence is still freaking insane when it comes to that. Physical damage reduction, you get 90% from the armor, and after that, that's it. And I guess converting elemental damage taken into physical is freaking dangerous because elemental is so much freaking higher in this game. If physical damage, even in Valdos, you're not gonna get hit for more than 25k. From the worst Valdos, you're not really going to get hit by more than 25, maybe 30,000 max. From the synth boss, which is like the hardest hit in the game. That's never gonna happen. And when it comes to Elemental, that's a completely different story. Elemental can hit 10 times harder than that, so I guess converting from Ellie to Fizz is, yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. That does make sense. Still be strong defensively, but not as strong as I thought. Like, legitimately not as strong. You need Divine Flesh, that's the annoying part. It is kind of annoying, that's true. But it's not going to be as strong regardless, because unless you would have additional ways of mitigating physical damage after that, it's just not going to happen. Yeah, but Chaos wouldn't be a problem, because Chaos you almost take no damage from that, because Chaos you actually do have resistance. So look at this example. So from that 100,000, if 50% goes to Fizz and if 50% goes to Chaos, you take this much damage as Fizz. And how much you're gonna take as Chaos in comparison? 50k times 0.1 times 0.25 times 0.8. See? So despite only having... Oh, I messed up. Hold on. I have 80. Times 0.1 times 0.2 times 0.8. So you're only taking 800 damage to Chaos after that. So Fizz, you would take 2400. Chaos, you would take 800 in comparison. Just because you have resistance, you have additional layer here. That's why converting damage to physical is dangerous. Because you just don't have enough multipliers on physical to reduce the damage further. That's the problem. You would literally need to be looking at sources of PDR and whatever to get like additional like 90% physical damage reduction or something, and then you would get like insanely tanky. But only then. So yeah, this is cool, but it's actually not as cool as I thought. Hold up a second. Unique helmets. There was a similar, a very interesting looking helmet that they added to the game some time ago, and I think it was armor energy shield helmet. Refuge and isolation. Elemental damage from hits taken as Fizz. Yes, it's the same story again. Abysses? No. Refuge and isolation. Physical damage of enemies hitting you is unlucky. So this is also kind of like a bait, right? This is the same mechanic. Elemental damage from hits taken as Fizz. I mean, this with that shield. No, but then you have another problem. Like, you cannot. Nah. Just can't freaking do that, man. Can't you get PDR via new Legion items? You could probably get a little bit, but not like insane amount. And the problem with that is that in order to like make this borderline immortal / immortal, you would need to get a lot of PDR or insane amount of endurance charges, and you're not gonna get everything at the same time while stacking armor. I mean, defensively you could, but you're gonna be doing no damage, so you're gonna be doing no damage after that. Like, actually negative damage. Okay, what if I put in there +15% to maximum resistances? 15% to all maximum resistances. Dude, this doesn't even freaking increase my max hit. Just as expected. But let's just put this instead. Watch this. 50% increased physical damage reduction. Plus 50%. Plus 50% to... I don't freaking remember what that is. Hold on. Shield. Physical damage reduction. Additional physical damage reduction. Okay, let's just do it this way. Wait, what the hell do you mean it didn't change anything? What do you mean? What do you mean it doesn't change anything at all? The physical damage reduction scales with endurance charges. It's It's in this bracket. It doesn't include armor. So why doesn't... What? Okay, let's do it this way. Plus 5. Plus 5 to maximum endurance charges. I'm so freaking lost. Actually. Plus 6. Plus 7. They don't do anything. Why? Why don't they do anything? I'm not capped on PDR. Like, not even close. So why don't they do anything? Like, none of these actually do anything. No, it's not a single one. Okay, now it does something. Like the first, like, 3 or 4. I finally found Flicker build guide. Do you think Flicker would be viable in 3.29? Yeah. Flicker actually got buffed a little bit because you're gonna have 30% chance to get Frenzy Charge on hit now, as opposed to 25 from the quality bonus. So I think it got a little bit better. I have no... I haven't the slightest clue why this works this way, by the way. I haven't the slightest clue, guys. And it's unlikely that POB is just wrong. So I'm so lost. Freaking damage reduction. Physical damage reduction is the most common form of damage reduction. It's the only type damage reduction granted by armor by default. Additional physical damage reduction can be found, strength, blah 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 blah. Yeah. Physical damage reduction can be lowered through effects such as pushes more. I guess I'm freaking retarded. Like, apparently armor just stacks with endurance charges, and it's only a singular. You cannot go be you cannot go. You cannot just reduce physical hit by more than 90% from endurance charges or PDR or armor. All of them are in the same bracket. Bro, I thought wrong all this freaking time, I guess. This is all the same bracket. The only thing you can do after that is fortify and some different modifiers. That's it. Well, that changes things. Well, and this elemental to physical is bait in that case. I mean, that would at the same time explain why Transcendence is so broken. Because with Transcendence you get 90% damage reduction from armor, and then you get 90% damage reduction from elements. So you get 99. Okay, that makes so much more sense. Okay, dude. This helmet is trash. I mean, look, in some cases this could be powerful actually, but very few cases. I think. It was so difficult to find a guide, I could only find accidentally. PoE2 has it better for some reason. The Flicker Strike build guide for PoE1 was hard to find. It's almost hard to believe. There's like infinite amount of guides in this game. So, and Flicker is a popular skill, so it's almost hard to believe that there are no Flicker builds out there. I think even the Mage Fist is doing like Flicker guides regularly, you know? Yeah. Alright, let's see further. Darius' Courage. Chance to block attack damage if you blocked a spell recently. Blah, 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 blah. Ghastly Theater. Man, it would be so freaking good to see. It would be so good to see the list of these modifiers that you can, you know, transfer from one unique to the other. Vix Lunaris. The Oppressor. Imagine transferring from the Oppressor. You take 20% damage from blocked hits. No, Oppressor actually probably gonna get chance to suppress spell damage transferred, and that's actually pretty good. Say whatever you want. That's probably the stat that will be transferred. So from what I remember, they said yesterday during the the interview with Ziggy that every item, apart from few exceptions, for example, Shaper stats will have 3 possible options. But other than that, vast majority of items will only transfer 1 stat every time. So there it is. I mean, maybe I just expect like Mobalytics with all the info you possibly need, like PoE 2 guides usually are. Yeah, in PoE 1, I don't think you are going to find a lot of... I might be wrong, but in PoE 1, like, most people just link POBs and stuff like that. They usually don't have like insane amount of explanation, like in PoE 2, because, PoE 1 is like people play this game for so many years. Most people are... There's very few new players. Okay, Springleaf, Emperor's Vigilance. I wonder what... you probably get glancing blows from this one. This one... Yo! I wonder if we could get all 6 from Maxutol's Machination. That would be freaking cool. If you could get Divine Flesh on your Aegis or something. Holy smokes, would that be cool. Like, actually. That'd be freaking incredible. Or even like Everlasting Sacrifice would be great also. Divine Flesh is too OP to be moved around? How do you know? We can cope a little bit. Sappho's Frame. Sappho's would be really nice if they actually transferred this mod like +2 to all max res. Ooh, that would be nice. +2 all max res on like, well, like on any shield really. Oh, I wonder if you could actually transfer this. But of course it'll be like nerfed to 1% or something like that. Oh my lord, that would be freaking busted on some builds. We have what? Rise of the Phoenix. Aye, so many interesting options, man. This one's probably cannot be ignited. Immortal Will. Can you only get drop anywhere uniques? So the way it works is that you can put in every unique in the game, from what I understand, but the only one that can be, taken out after you, kill the monsters and the item is fully juiced, the only result that you can find is the item that can normally be found like a global drop. 99% sure that's how it works, right? So for example, you can get Aegis with a random modifier here, right? Because Aegis is global drop. Same with Sappho's Frame. But for example, this one you will not be able to, I think. Yeah, you won't be able to. Oh, never mind. These are core drop pool, so never mind. This one you would be able to actually. So I take it back. This one would be available. Okay, Chalice of Horror, Maligaros. Cold damage taken as lightning and fire damage taken as lightning. Bro, another one of these freaking crazy conversion shields. You could also kind of do some crazy stuff with that. Once again, with Divine Flesh, you can get a corruption. You could take 49%. That's kind of cool also. That's actually, I think, better than before. That's a way better option than before, guys. You will be taking all damage as lightning, all of it, actually. I mean, not all of damage. Like you will be taking no cold and no fire. Hold on, let's try this one. Font of Thunder. To build, boom. And now with Font of Thunder, we would need Watcher's Eye. With this, you know what? I'm just going to simulate that to make it faster. I'm just going to simulate and add 50-50. Boom. Okay. Glorious Vanity. Hold on a second. Okay, so you're taking... Right now we're taking 50% damage as lightning and 50% damage as chaos. From all elements. Yeah. So we would need to get maximum plus 15% to maximum lightning resistance. Okay, and we have 86,000 elemental max hit. Bro, it's still not freaking... It's still not great. It's still not great, dude. Now it's only with 4K live, but still not amazing. But now endurance charges would actually work. So if you wanted to get plus 5 to maximum endurance charges. Okay, so endurance charges now work because you do get the bonus from resistances and then you get bonus from this. From mitigation. This is still like a drop in the ocean compared to what you can get with Transcendence, though. With Transcendence, you can get millions of LE max hit. You know? Yeah. What if I get Transcendence right now? Transcendence. That's freaking nonsense. There's no freaking shot that they only have 173,000 elemental max hit. That is nonsense with Transcendence right now. Okay, let's just say that I took 170,000 hit. Fine. Unless I'm just going to put some more armor here. Okay, that's better. Okay, armor... Okay. 170,000. So this gets reduced by... plus 10% to maximum chaos resistance. Okay, that makes more sense. So 300,000. So 50% of the damage I'm taking as elemental, 50% of the damage I'm taking as chaos. That's it. So this gets reduced by 0.9. Excuse me. Times 0.1 from resistance, then times 0.1 from Transcendence, and then I guess they're right. I shouldn't be freaking questioning POB, bro. I shouldn't be questioning POB, I guess. With 4,000 life, I guess that does make sense. That's true. I take it back. I take it back, man. It's obviously without any, like, you know, shield skills and stuff like that. Defensive skills, but still. magma eclipses, and these are okay. Let's take a look at the helmets, shall we? Let's take a look at unique helmets. I don't think anything beats Transcendence easily. No, you can't. You can't, but do I still have my Trickster here? I wonder. Oh, I still do. Oh, excuse me. All these smokes was this guy tanky. This guy had 21k energy shield with Transcendence, with 1.6 million armor, with 90 Ulris. This guy was hitting pretty free. This guy could take a hit for sure. But there's also something wrong with this calculation. Like, big wrong. There's no way. Hold on, what is the armor formula? Armor. To prevent 90% of the damage, you need 35 times the damage. Armor 45 times the damage. Okay, that does make a little bit more sense in that case. So let's just say plus 1,002 armor. Okay, plus 1,000,000. Okay. Questioning POB again. I know, man. It's just on paper to me. No, but hold on a second. All right, let's just remove this, right? Let's just say that I took like 1,000,000 damage, right? It says here that I have 1,000,000 versus cold and lightning. That's resistance first. 100,000. No, I guess it does make sense. 3/4. You need 15 times. So the damage reduction I will have. The damage reduction I will have from my armor against a 1,000,000 hit would be something like 78%, something like this. See? That's freaking bullshit. Because I still have Fortify times 0.8. I still have Fortify. And I still have freaking damage reduction from... I have almost 20% damage reduction from necrotic armor. From the implicit. That's like 0.82. See, I have 21k ES. So, what the hell, man? Like, actually. I literally just used the formula. Right? And it says that this would... 1,000,000 would hit me for 14,000. But I have 21k ES. So explain that to me, boys. Explain that to me, huh? Like, literally just explain to me. I'm gonna do this freaking calculation one more time. 1,000,000 cold. 90 res. Screw it. Let's just say 75% damage reduction. I have more than that. I have more than that. But 75. Oops. There we go. And now Fortify. And now the damage reduction from implicit. I'm even going to put a little bit lower number here. Explain that to me. Why? Why the hell? Okay, I know why. Because it's Guardian Pinnacle. It includes the penetration. Okay. Okay. I know why, boys. That's freaking hilarious. You just can't win against this program, man. You can't win against this dog shit. Okay. Okay, POB is right. Fine. I give up. Fine, damn it. Fine. It would have like about that much. Fine. Freaking A, dude. Guardian Pinnacle has how much penetration? 8%? No, 3%. Okay, no, okay. That makes sense. And given nothing in this freaking game hits that hard, right? Like, nothing even close hits that hard. What is, like, the biggest hit in the game that you can imagine? I'm talking Valdos with ghosts, with everything. Delirium, blah, blah, blah. What is the hardest hit, elemental hit, that you can take in this freaking game? Because I remember on this character, we tanked... Damn, I wish I had a freaking clip. On this character, we tanked the beam from Uber... Not Exarch, from the Ether. With, I think, how many stacks did we have of a debuff? 100 something? I don't remember. But the the Uber Maven brain explosion was doing like 2,000 damage to us. So, so yeah. My ES basically was not moving even. All right, but anyway, let's keep on looking at the items, boys. All right. Doom, 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 doom. So Baron, Blood Price, Calm's Command. It's like Crown of Ice is a pretty common unique, you know. Crown of Ice is like tier 2 or like tier 3 even. I don't remember. I think it's tier 3. I'm not 100% sure. So oh, holy. What about Formless Flame? There is no way that Formless Flame would transfer this stat, right? It has to be this. Ooh, damn. Yo, this is a spicy one also. This is big spice right there. This is spicy and a half. Also, you know what this league means, right? That this league means that builds with unique items, well, that doesn't necessarily have to be true because we don't know what the new crafting modifiers are. There's gonna be some new ones. But builds with a lot of unique items, especially armors, are going to get freaking buffed. And we need to freaking abuse that, boys. Armor increased by overcap fire resistance. That is interesting, to say the least. Freaking especially on Chieftain, you know what I mean? Because, like, we can get, like... On a Chieftain, we could probably get, like... we could probably get, like, 300, 400 armor from that easy peasy lemon squeezy. So that would completely solve this build's physical damage resistance problem. If I could get to, like, 50k armor or something, and I'm pretty sure I could, especially after I'm gonna drop Brat Bits. Holy smokes, man, that would be freaking beautiful. This will be like immortal league starter. So hard to kill, actually. Dude, that would be so good on Chieftain. Especially with like helicals, like have fire resistance on both helicals. Well, I already have here, but Fairgrave's Tricorn. Okay, I was thinking about something, but never mind. Yo, guys. Actually, never mind. I am going to take a look at it. Unique rings. Yo, guys. There is a big question that I have for everybody. So listen carefully. Wait, what the hell is that? Listen carefully, boys. Where is this freaking ring? These are gonna be so expensive, by the way. Holy. The corrupted ones with +2 to charges? Oh my. They're gonna be disgusting. There we go. Enmity's Embrace. With volatile Va orbs, can you reduce this number to make this ring freaking more insane? Let's take a look, I guess. I'm gonna check and trade. You can? Oh, damn. Reduced fire resistance. Okay, I guess it goes something like that. Increased fire resistance. Increased fire resistance, minus 60, minus 70? Something like that? Minus 70, minus 60? There we go. Enmity Embrace. Minus 60, minus 55. Huh? Damn it, dude. 56? This guy's gotta get freaking... Bro, what a deal. I'm logging in, dude. I'm buying that. Pretty expensive. No, but I mean, this is freaking huge, though. So every percent closer to 0 is like more effective. So going from 65 to something like 56 is actually huge on this ring. Like, actually huge. But then, of course, this is great for damage, but it's counterproductive when it comes to using this with something like that, right? Like, you don't want to use that with Formless Flame. But not gonna lie, this might be League, since they nerfed Helicals at the same time, where we're gonna push Brutus much further, and we're gonna try to get this and get like 200% fire pen with this. Not gonna lie, I'm gonna be thinking about it. I might be thinking about it, dude. That's an option for sure. All right, let's keep on going with here. Let's keep on going here. Imagine if you could transfer this. Your cold resistance is 75, period. That'd be kind of nice, not gonna lie. I mean... No, honestly, that would be, I think, that would be overpowered. Like, legitimately overpowered on some builds. If you could, like, actually get this modifier. Like, your cold, fire, or lightning resistance is 75, period. That would be kind of strong. For some people. Will be abused now with Minion Pact. But Minion Pact is literally gone from the game. It's removed. They removed it this patch. As a matter of fact, I actually haven't seen so far anyone come up with something broken because everyone got pretty much nerfed. Well, everyone maybe is a stretch, but there's a lot of builds that got nerfed. Endgame builds got cocked pretty hard because synthesis mods are gone. The synthesis implicits. Totems got nerfed. Spells got buffed, but Archmage and Arcane Cloak got nerfed, so like mana builds got nerfed, generally speaking. Stat stackers got nerfed because of implicits and helical changes, the mist changes, and some other stuff. Chords got removed. The Screams of the Desiccated got removed. Like, everyone got freaking nerfed big time. We actually didn't get nerfed that hard. We only lost a little bit of damage on Rat Bits, which we're gonna replace for something else, by the way. Other than that, this starter is literally the same. Like, literally the same. Which is kind of cool. Not gonna lie. Well, actually, we got buffed because we can get some bonuses, extra bonuses on unique items. So, I take it back. We got buffed, you know? It's crazy. Percent strength on belt is gone. That's true. That's extremely painful. This thing is gone. That's true. It's not a complete disaster because you will be able to use, for example, Meginords or Cyclopean Coil. I mean, I'm going to show you. Cyclopean Coil compared to something like that is probably not that bad. Catalyst. Catalyst attributes. So Cyclopean Coil compared to a belt I had over here is minus 6% damage and some resistance. It's not that bad. I've seen worse. And Cyclopean Coil is dirt cheap. You also have another option, which is Meginords, Girdle, and wait, what? You can't do the other version, the breach version. Really? Okay, I'm gonna do it myself. 80% increased strength. Catalyst attributes. Meginords would actually be more damage compared to the build I had over here. That's kind of crazy. Good yeah, that's not a problem. I take it back. Yeah, full-born Meginords. Yeah, I take it back. That's not a... Yeah, but apparently there's no full-born uniques here. But that's not even a problem. That's like totally fine. Guess that's gonna be our like bis for a long time, this belt. Which is going to be kind of a pain in the ass because we are going to lose some resistances, but I don't think it's gonna be that big of a problem. Should be okay. We'll just need to get some more chaos resistance somewhere else, and that's it. And that's gonna be fine. And of course, late game, you could try to get a corruption on Meginords for percent strength again. Which would be even more, but this one is fine. Honestly, this is a fine option for a long time. These belts are not going to be expensive. They're too common. They're too common for them to be expensive. What are other options when it comes to belts? Well, we have Mage Blood, obviously, but Mage Blood is not necessarily like a league started item. I think that's about it. That's about it. The good news is that on the strength in stacking Inquisitor, we are using Mage Blood anyway, so that's not really a loss. Okay, let me think real fast. Inquisitor, chosen echoing, chosen whatever. So this is with this belt, right? Screams of the Desiccated. Broken Belt, it's called. Wait, hold on, give me a second. I had 300 million Shaper DPS on this POB? Without screams? How is that possible? Okay. Okay, I get it. So 80% increased strength. Holy smokes. 350 million Shaper DPS. But I mean, look at the resistances. Dude, you know what? Like now all of a sudden, I need to think about something like this again. There's one problem. because of no Screams of Desiccated, I don't think that this is worth anymore. This is probably not worth it anymore, because you lose flasks. Before, you would gain a belt, Screams of Desiccated, and +1 ring slot at the same time. That's freaking insane. Right now, I'm not 100% sure if it will be worth it at this point. Especially that this is nerfed, because Helicals will not be as crazy as they were before. So this is nerfed on top of that. So I'll be honest, I mean, this build would still be freaking insane. I mean, look at this. We're gonna drop that, right? We're gonna drop this. Now I have 2 passive points. I can put, you know, whatever. I can do something with them. Could maybe even, like, get one of these, like, you know, full board. I mean, these ascendancies. So I'm not gonna be, you know, looking for one right now, but increase global defenses. There's like some aura effect here, whatever. We could do something with those points, and then put Mage Blood in there. And with Mage Blood, without any flasks, I'm still sitting at 200 million Shaper DPS on this build. That's nothing to sneeze at. And with Mage Blood, obviously, we would get 90 Olores. So it'll be extremely tanky. And probably like 50k evasion or something on top of that. 300,000 more, 400,000 max hit for elemental, actually. It's be freaking extremely tanky, this guy. And 95% evade chance he would have, so like damn, you know what I mean. That is an option. And the damage, well, only 200 million now, but you know, it is what it is. The thing is that on this build, I don't think that Shaper's Touch is really giving me anything apart from increased energy shield per strength. So on paper, you could get different gloves, and that'd be freaking huge. Absolutely huge. Paradoxica, you can't do anything here. Oh, and I also had... Oh, never mind. No, never mind. I mean, you could have, on paper, you could have like a shield with Shaper mod, and on block you could recover 5% of your ES. You could have that. That is true. With 95% evade chance though, and 50% block chance, like I would never freaking take hits. Like literally never. It would never happen anyway. With this energy shield pool and 90 all-res and free, bro. I need to think about that. You know what? I'm going to stop horsing around, and we are finally going to do what I wanted to do today, which is a new project I mentioned before. This new project being an Arc spellcaster. What's up, Benimaru? Hello, hello. So, I'm gonna surprise you boys. Actually, let's go back. Builds Inquisitor from 3.27 actually. There we go. And I'm going to save that as 3.28 as 21 Inquisitor Spellcaster. There we go. Time for good PV1 League fun. That's right. Hopefully it's going to be fun, because the league looks extremely fun, especially when it comes to build crafting. I'm kind of afraid that we're not going to have a lot of great places to farm. I could be wrong about that. But anyways. Alright, so let's try to do something like this, right? So... oh, damn it, that's gonna be rough. That's gonna be rough. Alright. Drop these. Let's put in Vol Arc. Vol Arc. Drop these bad boys. Get these 2 points. Actually, hold on. Something like that. Boom. Oh man, that would require so many changes. I think we'll eat good this league. I'm really excited for these special unique items, right? I'm mostly excited for this, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, Greater Spell Echo, it's fine. Now, for now, I'm just going to put stuff in here. And then we're gonna do optimizations. Cast when stunned. Frost Mage. Spirit skills gain added cold damage with its 26% of reserved maximum mana. Spirit skills being cost to 5% of reserved maximum mana. I mean, I don't think that still would be a problem, but for now I'm just gonna do something else. Spellblade. Spellblade, and the last support we're gonna keep, you know, whatever. New energy blades. Boom. Okay. %50 more damage from that. Fanaticism. Do you have fanaticism? Yes, I do. Oh, there's no fanaticism here as an option? No way. Oh, never mind. There is. Fanaticism is such a broken thing this patch. Like, you can have easy 100% uptime on this. Easy. I'm telling you right now. Easy 100% uptime. This spell is going to be absolutely busted. Alright, give me like boots with energy shield for now. Just any energy shield, craft item, boots. Boots, energy shield. What are the highest energy shield boots? Warlock? Warlock. And then we would need to get energy shield as much as humanly possible. Get some quality here for clear skin. Get some intelligence. Get some strength. Add modifier. Essence. Strength. Boom. Boom. Okay, nice boots right there. Okay, 7k ES. And we would need to get to about 20k ES to make it like actually worthwhile. About that much. This helical. Drop this line. And Eyes of the Great Wolf also is not going to exist in its current form. That's something to keep in mind. But this build like this, if we wanted to go pure spells, a build like this would have free helmet slot, which is big. Is this Paradoxica Inquisitor skeleton with new skills? No. No, I was thinking about doing energy blades, stacking energy shield, and stacking strength and int to get 100% crit chance. And from stacking strength at the same time, we'll be getting bonus damage bonus from Iron Will, and basically going from there. So being crit capped, 500 crit multi, permanent fanaticism for 75% more cast speed, and all that stuff, right? I think overall this will be pretty damn strong. And then energy blade with like 20k ES or something like that, to get like super high number here. Elemental focus, probably not. Greater chain. Okay, greater chain sounds like an option. Inspiration would be freaking fantastic. Alright, so the mana cost on arc would be 16. Okay, that's not a problem. My regeneration would cover that, pretty sure. Enemies are shocked, probably like 30%. But the damage right now looks extremely, extremely small. I mean, I would need to redesign literally freaking everything about this build, though. I'm gonna say even more. I might need to build it from scratch. Excuse me. I would perhaps need to build it from scratch. Craft item. Helmet. Energy shield. So I want to see how much we could get overall. Forgot to put implicits on boots, but that's fine. That's later. I can do. Boom, intelligence, and then we would want to get, once again, essence, strength, boom, boom, and then we would have, you know, implicit, Searing Exarch, Eater, nope. Mana, reservation, efficiency of skills. %, or something. Boom. Okay, there we go. On your bear build, when picking up maps, did you run crit maps or anything other than crit? I run any content. Anything I wanted. Like, no exceptions. I didn't even read map mods, I'll be honest with you. Jewel. Cobalt. Crit multi. With lightning skills. Here, I don't know. Energy shield, let's just say. That's a bad choice, by the way, but whatever. Strength, all attributes. These large clusters are also completely useless. A large cluster jewel. We would probably need to get spell damage in here. These clusters before were... okay, something like that. Could change this one too. This one. That's 10 million arc damage. That is bad. I don't know how we managed to only get 10 million. What? How is that even remotely possible? That's only 10 million. I have freaking energy blades. Crit capped with 500 crit multi. How the heck? I have like 10,000 flat lightning damage or something. How much do we have? Arc. Bro, I have 9.3 thousand added max lightning. How come I have 10 million DPS only? That doesn't even make any sense. And total damage increased also 9.28. I'm so freaking lost. Like if I wanted to, I'm gonna challenge POB again. I know, but if I wanted to calculate this in calculator, right? I have about 7,000 lightning hit when lucky, and we are lucky with Vol Arc. Times this damage bonus, so times 10, times crit multi, times 5, times. I guess it does make sense. Times my cast speed, times the damage multiplier on Arc itself. Arc has 120 damage effectiveness and plus 120. Okay, I guess it kind of does make sense. That would be like still 60% more because Arc got buffed, right? But regardless, obviously I would need to make some more changes because this is completely useless at this point. This doesn't do anything, so I'd have more passive points to spend. But the damage is slightly lower than I would anticipate. Okay, it's 15 million now, but that's still not enough. That is still not enough. But the build will be kind of cozy, not gonna lie. I mean, 50 million damage on Arc, but you know, this is block cap like 90 all res with Aegis, but yeah, doesn't make much sense. I thought it's gonna be better. I thought it's gonna be more damage. Not gonna lie. Kind of surprised though. I thought that with fanaticism, it's gonna be stronger. I don't think I have a lot of cast speed modifiers though, so probably investing into cast speed would like make a big difference. Yeah. Cast speed. Yeah, a cluster like this for cast speed is already, yeah, it makes sense. Will you be using new node on Ascendancy? What new node? I'm a 4K energy shield and there are still some bosses that have attacks that deal a ton of damage or even one shot. I guess I have to keep them brewing. 4K energy shield, that's very, very little. Like you could show me your POB. I'm gonna tell you if you have like, you know, what you can improve like real quick. I can give you hint, some hints basically. I mean, if I optimize that, I think we could reach like 50 million arc damage. That would be very comfy for mapping and stuff. That would be very, very comfy for mapping. But at this point, it doesn't make absolutely any sense to go for that over, you know, what we have over here. It doesn't make any sense because here I have 100 million Shaper with Smite, and we're freaking tankier too. So what's the point? What's the point? Let's be honest. And this is with 6 ascendancy points only. Base spell critical strikes of spells is equal to that of the main hand weapon. On Inquisitor, I don't think that makes a lot of sense. I think if you're building Inquisitor, if you're, you know, playing this class, then you're just supposed to be building around this. And if you're building around this, you're crit capped anyway. So I think legitimately, of course, for some builds this could be useful, but I really like to build my Inquisitors around this. If I'm building around the class, around Ascendancy, I really want it to be built around its main strength, and I think Inquisitor's main strength is ability to stack strength int, get a lot of energy shield, and crit cap because of this. So yeah. These 4 nodes are so freaking strong. And you can definitely build a spellcaster this league, 100%. Instruments of Zeal are insanely strong. And I mean insanely. Your past Inquisitor build, we're gonna try to improve it this league. We have plenty of options to choose from, because we can, you know, get some other mods from other unique items. Especially interesting is Crown of Ice. If you can actually move increases and reductions to spell damage applied to attacks from Crown of Ice, that's freaking crazy, because that means we can use a different helmet. That's freaking insane. Insane. And hopefully we can do that, you know. Crown of Ice is not a very rare item. It's like tier 2 or tier 3 or something like this. Also could get a different gloves, because the only thing that is really good in here, really, that we use... Okay, accuracy is pretty good also, but accuracy is freaking whatever. Just put precision in, and that's it. But what's really good in here is obviously 1% increased energy shield per 10 strength. So without that, we can literally do like a different gloves. And try to get this mod on like different unique gloves, and boom, we're also done. So, yeah. Speaking of which, oh my lord, dude! I just realized something. Imagine if you can transfer this. If we could transfer this mod, holy, that would be freaking devastating. Alright, now what? Let's take a look at gloves. Because gloves is probably the most interesting slot from the ones that I've seen. Because glove slot is potentially really good on both Inquisitor and on Brutus build. So let's take a look. Admiral's Arrogance. What? But up to +3 level of melee skill gems. +3 is quite a lot. Are you drinking low? I can hear just swallows all the time. I am just having yogurt. I didn't have a lot of food today, man. Just trying to fill myself up a little bit with something. Wind of Change, Pirate Grasp, PUB or PUE Ninja. Both are fine. Celestial Brace. Dude, I wonder what's gonna happen with this. Holy. Celestial Brace, now that's freaking... You know what? I gotta be honest. I'm pretty sure that the mod from Celestial Brace that you will be able to get is probably melee hits from strike skills Fortify. That's what you're gonna get. Akon, have you checked the patch notes yet? Yes. I gotta be honest, for us personally, there isn't like too many interesting changes, apart from all the changes that we have no information about. So basically the new crafting recipes, the new crafting mods, the unique items. We don't know all of that. So yeah. Cage Mammoth. 5% less damage taken per 5 rage, up to a maximum of 30%. The maximum rage is halved. You lose rage per second. What crazy gloves, dude. Actually kind of crazy. This mod from Chaos Spirit would be pretty cracked also. Regenerate 1 rage per second for every 2% life recovery per second from regeneration. Ooh. Imagine if you could transfer that. Even if this was, I don't know, 400 or something, that would be still great on Chieftain. So many good pairs of gloves, actually. So many good ones. Sadima's Touch, Bada Beam. Is we're looking for Legion uniques for our build. Yep. There's gonna be some very good options for sure. The biggest boost potentially that we can get is from Crown of Ice. If we can get the increases reductions to spell damage from Crown of Ice into a different unique helmet, that's freaking insane. Right? But there are other options too, to be honest. That's not the only one. We have a lot of stuff like, you know, Iron Fortress potentially, because this is a global drop, so Iron Fortress can get interesting. Rat Pits, also we can get this mod on a different unique shield from Rat Pits, that is potentially huge. Even if you had that on something like Lionized Remorse, that's freaking huge, because Lionized Remorse would give you a lot of armor in life. So this is potentially not even necessarily very expensive. And it's still strong. What unique are you thinking for helmet yet? We've been scrolling through these uniques to figure something out, but I haven't been really even like thinking about it too much because we don't even know what the list is gonna be. We don't even know what the list of these is gonna be, so I'm trying to be careful in here, basically. I wonder how armor stackers are holding up this league. Kinda curious. Wonder how armor stackers are holding up. I mean, what did armor stackers lose and get? They lost Synth Implicits, that's freaking devastating. Not gonna lie, that's freaking absolutely devastating for armor stackers. I mean, for a lot of endgame builds, but for armor stackers especially. They lost what? The corruption on amulets and rings rolls up to 30% aura effect now, but once again they lost Synth Implicits, so no endurance charges on rings, no aura effect on rings, no crazy modifiers on helmet. Bro, like armor freaking stackers are dead. Like holy smokes, they lost so much. Now that I think about it, they lost so much, man. We be farming Legion, I guess, but what goes with Legion? Never farmed it. It's really basic. For Legion, you need good wave clear, because you basically click this Legion, and in maps and both in the end game mechanic with Legion, you just need good clear. Because there's like a lot of spread out monsters and you need to be fast, and that's pretty much it. I think Legion is gonna be good farm though. A lot of people will be farming Legion to gain very good combinations of these unique items and stuff. I think a lot of people will be farming that actually. Brutus Smite is good with it, I would think. Probably not the best, but definitely not horrible. Brutus would be probably like, I don't know, 7 out of 10 for farming Legion. So, It has good clear, but with Vol Smite you would clear, you know, you would clear okay, I guess. So it would be okay. I'm probably going to be farming Abyss and the Leak Mechanic, because these two look the most interesting for now. Black Zenith. Oh! Oh, damn! I mean, it's not like that crazy, but you could get Iron Will from Repentance, possibly, on unique gloves. There's a very, very good chance that this is the mod that transfers, actually. It's the Iron Will on Repentance. That's kind of cool. Repentance is a global drop, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Bro, that would be crazy! To get Shaper's Touch, to get this mod from Shaper's Touch, increased energy shield per 10 strength, on the Repentance base. Holy smokes, would that be freaking insane. That's Iron Will for free, 12% increased strength, and really good armor and energy shield. That would be freaking crazy strong. Hold up a second. I mean, let's just do whatever. Let's just click this, right? So you save 3 passive points. Well, not necessarily save because you lose the strength here, but I mean, you do save passive points. So you don't need to take this. Man, that would be so beautiful. And you get 12% strength here on your gloves, and armor, and energy shield. Wow. Alright, that's probably the best upgrade I can think of, like legitimately. I don't think I can think of anything better. Like I'm dead serious. For the Inquisitor build, that's it. 12% strength and Iron Will for free, and boost to armor and energy shield. Can we corrupt these uniques? Yeah, but, you know, good luck, right? Because if you're gonna get, like, if you're gonna put in Legion the Shaper's Touch, first of all, you have 1 in 3 chance that you're gonna roll this modifier. Increased energy shield per 10 strength. And then you need to get these gloves, right? So it is going to be rare and very expensive. But that's a massive boost. Massive boost. Compared to this. That's a huge boost, but it's gonna be expensive. It's gonna be really expensive. A lot of people will want that. I can tell you right now, a lot of people will want this. I think. But that would be huge. Absolutely huge. This potentially, honestly, could be also good on the Brutus build. I'm dead serious. Like, just get Repentance and get, like, I don't know, any other useful freaking mod from any of these gloves. Like, legitimately, dude. I think there's potential. I think there's big potential there. That's incredible, though. That would honestly mitigate, not only mitigate, that would, like, mitigate and then give us a bonus of extra strength from the loss of strength on helical rings. That's huge. Absolutely huge. And man, they have like 1,000 armor and 200 energy shield also. That's nothing to sneeze at, man. That's actually nothing to sneeze at all. It's a decent amount. Wow. That's beautiful. What strength loss from Helical? What happened? Oh, you don't know? The mist effect has been reduced. We don't know by how much. We don't know if... I mean, it's safe to say that you will still be able to get, I don't know, like 160, 70 strength and intelligence on rings like this. But forget about, like, you know, 200 plus. That's not going to happen. Right? I don't think it's going to be a gigantic nerf, but it is going to be a nerf. Like, nevertheless. Just, it's I don't think it's going to be worth it to go for this to go for this anymore. This was insane with Screams of Desiccated because you're gaining Screams, so permanent shrines and +1 ring slot, and you paid with your utility flasks for both of these things. Now Screams is gone. It's not in the game anymore. So this is just not going to be an option anymore. I don't think that getting +1 ring slot that's nerfed on top of that is going to be worth to like lose your flasks for that. There's no freaking way. So it's basically just go back to Mage Blood. And don't get me wrong, Mage Blood is freaking incredible, obviously. But Mage Blood is freaking huge. Wait, hold on. I have 86 Alres here? How the hell? Oh, I have all 3 purity. Okay, we would need to redesign this, by the way. Big time. We would need to redesign this build. We would need to redesign this big time, and we will. We will, by the way. Okay, this actually got me excited. But you know what? Like, this is not going to be as expensive as, I don't know, Indigon, Crown of Ice or something, which is going to be 7 mirrors. But this is gonna be great still. That's one of the biggest boosts, honestly, if you could get gloves like these with Shaper's Touch mod. That's one of the biggest boosts that this build has received in years. Like, alone. I'm not even counting the other unique items, right? 12% strength and Iron Will for free with armor and energy shield on top of that. That's freaking massive, actually. That's so big. Oh, and also, I have good news, boys. A very good news, as a matter of fact. You see this build right here, the good old Brutus. You see this notable over here. Mace Mastery, all damage with maces and scepters inflicts chill. I'll show you something.